Ain't you looking pretty today?
Thank you, Paul.
Mark Templeton must be coming over to see you.
Yes, sir. He's fetching me over a scuba suit. Gonna learn me to be a frog woman.
You two seem to be hitting it off pretty good.
Yes, sir. I like Mark a whole lot. I'm just sorry Granny don't like him.
Oh, she likes him all right. She just don't understand what he does. She ain't never heard of a Navy frogman before.
She keeps telling him to stay out of the water.
Well, like lots of old folks that ain't never learned to swim, Granny's scared of the water. She'll get over worrying about him.
Thanks for fetching me home, Miss Jane, and for sending me to that nice Dr. Klingman, too.
Well, he's a fine psychiatrist, Granny. If anyone can help you with your bad dreams, he can.
Oh, it's more than bad dreams. If only that Mark Templeton would stay out of the water. Every time he dunks himself, he turns into a frog.
Well, that's his career, Granny. He's a frogman in the Navy.
Why couldn't he be in the Army? Of course, then maybe he'd go underground and turn himself into a gopher man. I don't know.
Well, try not to let it worry you, Granny. But if you should have any more nightmares, don't hesitate to see Dr. Klingner.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Now listen, Mark. I'm gonna have Ellie kiss you and turn you back into a man like she done before. But please, this time, stay out of the cement pond. I don't know whether that's a yes or a no. But it better be a yes. I'm too old for this kind of foolishness. Oh, Ellie. Thank heavens we's alone. Have you missed Mark?
Sure have, Granny.
Would you like to see him again, tall and handsome and in his uniform?
Is he here?
He will be. He will be. Just take him out of the cage and kiss him.
Well, Granny, I don't want to do that.
Well, you gotta take him out of the cage, Ellie, or he'll swell up and bust it.
Well, Granny, I feel silly kissing a frog.
Well, I won't watch. You take him outside and do it.
All right, I'll take him outside. I'm awful sorry Granny keeps hauling you around in this here cage. There. Now you can hop down to the cement pond, have yourself a swim.
Hi, Ellie, eh?
Hi, Mark.
I brought you scuba gear.
Thank you.
Who's your friend?
Oh, that's Granny's pet frog. She named him Mark.
I guess I should be flattered, but I'm not so sure.
Oh, she's right fond of him, but she keeps wanting me to kiss him.
She must be hoping he'll turn into a prince. Like I said before, who needs competition?
Thank you for another miracle. I'll try and keep him out of the water this time, so I won't have to bother you no more. Oh, bless you, Ellie, for doing as I told you. Oh, Mark, you look wonderful.
Well, thank you, Granny.
I'll go get into my swimming suit and meet you down by the cement pond.
Fine.
Wait a minute. What was that?
Mark's gonna learn me to swim underwater and be a frog woman.
Oh, no, Ellie, don't go near the water, and don't let him get wet again either.
Oh, it's all right, Granny.
Really it is, Granny.
You stay out of this, frog boy. Ellie, listen to me, dear. Stay away from the cement pond, both of you.
Don't get upset, Granny. Mark won't let nothing happen to me.
He can't even stop what happens to him.
What are you talking about?
You don't remember what happened down at the cement pond?
No.
You don't remember me pulling you out and taking you to the doctor?
No.
You don't remember him telling you to stay out of the water?
No.
See? His brain shrinks up with his body.
Granny, that ain't nice.
Nice, it's downright ugly.
I'll meet you down to the pond, Mark.
Okay,
No,
Ellie.
Ellie, please, I'm pleading with you. Don't, please.
Granny, there's no danger. You can come and watch.
I wouldn't watch that gruesome sight for nothing.
I'll see you at the pool.
Oh, no, you won't.
Granny, let go.
Granny, get off his back.
You ain't turning my only granddaughter into no frog woman.
What's going on in here?
Granny's jumped on Mark's back and won't get off.
Granny, get down from there. Stop riding that boy.
Not until he promises to stay out of the water.
He can't promise that.
Well, then get a rope. We'll tie him up.
I'll tie you up. Get off his back.
No!
Hey! Y'all playing horse and rider? Come on, Ellie. Hop on my back and we'll joust him.
Jethro, we ain't playing. Now tote Granny up to her room and lock her in.
Hop on, Granny.
Stay away from me, you big boob.
Come on. All right, Jethro, tote her upstairs.
Now, let me go. Let me go, you big lunkhead. This whole family's gone crazy. Let me go. Help! What's going on in here? What is all this?
Ellie is marrying Mark Templeton. This is Judge Marshall. He's going to perform the ceremony.
You can't do it, Judge. The groom is a frog man. When he gets wet, he turns frog.
Madam, please. The ceremony's about to begin. Here comes the best man.
Jethro, where's the groom?
We're running a little late. He wanted to take a shower.
Ooh, don't let him, Jethro. Please stop him from getting... Ah! It's too late. He got his head wet. Miss Jane, don't let him go through with this thing. Stop him, please. Dad, take a look at the groom. You can't let your daughter marry that thing.
Granny, please, this is a solemn occasion.
Solemn is pitiful.
We are gathered here to join this couple in wedlock. Who gives this woman to be married to this frog?
I do.
Mark Templeton, do you take this woman for your lawfully wedded wife? Ellie Mae Clampett, do you take this frog to be your lawfully wedded husband?
Say no.
I do.
I now pronounce you frog and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Yes, Ellie, kiss him. Maybe it'll turn him back into a man. No. Oh, no.
Have a nice honeymoon, youngins.
No. 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 Stop him, somebody. Stop him. Jed. Help, Jed. Help.
What's the matter, Granny?
Jed, did Ellie Mae and that frog man get married yet?
No.
Oh, praise be. You can't let this courtship go any further, Jed.
Now, Granny.
Do as I say or you're going to hear the pitter-patter of little web feet.
Granny, you come over here. Take another one of these tranquilizers and light up. Granny, come back here.
This sure is a pretty scuba suit, Mark.
Well, I thought you ought to have something a little fancier in our Navy gear.
These flippers sure is hard to walk in.
A little awkward on land, but they'll feel great in the water.
Granny, stay away from the young'un.
Ellie, Mark, get your feet out of the water quick.
none of your concern. Come on now.
Don't get nothing else wet, I'm begging you. It'll be gruesome.
Say, does it look like a serious romance between Ellie Mae and that Navy lieutenant?
Does indeed.
You know, if he marries Ellie Mae, he's going to come into $30 or $40 million.
He will.
Oh, I love that boy. He's just like my own son.
Chief, you threw him out of your office. He can't stand you. He despises you.
Yeah, I've got to get on his good side and fast. Think of something.
When it comes to devious, underhanded schemes, no one can give you advice.
Yes, I guess I am pretty hard to beat. Oh, I think I've got the germ of an idea.
I'm sure germ is the perfect word.
Careful, Hathaway. One of these days, you're going to push my sweet, generous nature too far.
You are about as sweet and generous as a hungry wolf.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Oh, it's you. You're wearing Navy fatigues.
Aye, aye, sir. I always wear them when I swab the deck. I mean, wash off the patio.
You're Navy?
Didn't you know? Oh, yes, I went through the whole thing. Pearl, Guadalcanal, Midway, Coral Sea, Philippines. Oh, I really saw the action.
How'd you get hurt?
Oh, is it noticeable? Well, it only bothers me when I'm around water.
Shell fragment?
Shark bite.
Your ship went down, huh?
3 of them.
You really did see some action.
Well, I don't like to talk about it. But it was pretty rough out there. As my skipper used to say to me, Spunky, he'd say, we can't quit. We're Navy.
Let me ask you something. When I first walked into your office, I was wearing my Navy uniform. You treated me like dirt.
Well, son, I'll level with you. For 5 long years, I took orders from officers. Kids not dry behind the ears. 90-day wonders barking at me. Swab that deck, sailor. Polish that gun, Mac. Tote that shell. Lift that hatch. When I saw you walking in wearing that officer's uniform, all came back to me. I just saw red.
I can understand that.
No hard feelings, sir?
Of course not. And don't call me sir.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, no, there's all frog but the head.
Aren't they a great couple? I'm responsible for that, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. All 3 of you can go frog together.
Did Granny sure enough push Mr. Drysdale in the cement pond?
Like to drown the poor man.
I wish somebody would drown me so I don't have to see the monstrous trouble that's coming to this family. A bunch of frog brains, that's what you are.
Put her on the bed.
Put me down, you big lummox. Put me down.
Now, take another one of them tranquilizers and get some sleep.
I don't want to go to sleep. I'll have another horrible nightmare.
Well, stay in here and get some rest anyway. Now, Jethro, I want you to lock this door, stand guard, and don't open it. Can you understand that?
Of course I can. You're talking to a 6th grade educated brain.
Fine.
I'll just stay out here and read old Jim Owen's book. It's full of funny stuff.
Yeah, that might be just a thing to get Granny's mind off her troubles. Let me have that. Granny, I got something here that's going to cheer you up. Old Jim Owen from back home wrote a book, and it's a dandy. Old Jim says right here on the back page, if you're too busy to fish, you're too busy.
I don't want to hear nothing about fish, nor frogs, nor nothing that comes out of the water.
Well, now, here's a good one. You listen to this. A while back, a friend of mine had money trouble, and I helped him out. He says, I won't forget you, Jim. And he kept his word. He's in trouble again, and he just called me. Well, I reckon you're just not in the mood for funny stories. Well, have a good rest.
Jethro?
What you want?
Open the door.
I can't. I got orders to keep it locked.
I'm the one that give you the orders.
Yes, sir. And my sixth-grade educated brain is hanging on to them.
Get through. Unlock the door and I'll feed you. Good boy.
Thank you. Did the book cheer her up?
Oh, I'm afraid not.
Hey, I know something that might. Remember that frog she had in the cage she was so crazy about?
Yeah, she did seem right took with that thing.
Well, maybe I could find it and fetch it to her.
Worth a try.
I'll do her.
Found him, huh?
Found 2 of them down by the cement pond.
Fine. Now, if Granny's asleep, don't wake her.
Gotcha. Hey, Granny, what you doing?
Oh, Jethro, I spilled some water on the bed, and I'm hanging the sheets out to dry.
Oh, well, I found these 2 frogs swimming in the cement pond. Figured they might be good company for you.
Mark and Ellie, why wouldn't you listen to me? If I told you once, I told you a dozen times to stay out of the water. Now look at you. Won't do you no good to kiss now. You're both frogs. Well, let's hope and pray that Dr. Klinger can help you. Sorry to bother you again, Doctor.
Not at all. I was hoping you'd come back.
You remember Mark Templeton, the lieutenant in the United States Navy?
Oh, of course. Hello again, Lieutenant.
The other one is my granddaughter, Ellie Mae.
Oh, this is the girl you told me about, the one who's in love with Mark here.
Yes. She's a beautiful girl, Doctor.
They're a handsome couple.
They want to get married, but who's going to give them 2 a wedding?
Well, I wouldn't let that worry me. In their case, a marriage ceremony isn't really important.
Doctor, what are you suggesting?
Well, I mean, they're just...
I can't speak for him. He's a sailor. But my granddaughter was raised up proper. She's a decent church-going girl.
She goes to church.
Every Sunday. Back home, she used to sing in the choir.
Oh, well, that does shed a different light on the situation. We must observe the proprieties, the conventions.
You bet your cotton-picking pill bottle. Ellie's gonna have a beautiful wedding with flower girls and everything.
Fine. Well, now, suppose you take them back home now and call me for a regular appointment.
There ain't no use for me to take them home. I've done all I can for them. Now it's up to you.
What exactly is up to me?
You got to turn them 2 frogs into a handsome Navy lieutenant and a beautiful blonde girl.
Oh, that's going to take some doing.
Take your time. I'm leaving here. And when you've earned your fee, you have Miss Jane drive them home.
Miss Jane, that would be Miss Hathaway?
Yep. She's the one that recommended you. Says you're the greatest there is.
Well,
All you gotta do now is prove it.
Get me Miss Hathaway, please. Dr. Freud, I've read everything you've ever written, but you never covered this one.
She told you what?
She said she was hanging the sheets out the window to dry. And she was right. They're as dry as a bone.
Boy, you are not to be believed.
Oh, but thank you.
Go out and find your granny.
I don't know where she is.
Go find her! Get moving!
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sure do thank you for the scuba lesson, Mark.
How about another one tomorrow?
Dandy. Oh, come in.
Hello, young lovers.
Howdy, Miss Jane.
Hello, Miss Hathaway.
Well, Ellie Mae, this time I brought you 2 frogs.
Oh, them poor critters. I sure do wish Granny stopped putting them in cages.
Miss Jane's car. Maybe the doctor done it. Oh, Mark. You're all right. Oh, praise be. Oh, Ellie, you're beautiful. Oh, young'uns, I'm so happy. Miss Jane, thank you. And thank Dr. Klinger for me, too. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go up and lay down. I am dog-tired, plumb wrung out. But before I go, young'uns, promise me you'll never go near the water again.
But, Granny, we can't do that.
In fact, I'm giving Ellie another frog woman lesson in the morning.
No!
Granny! Granny, get off!
Granny, you're riding that boy again. Get off of him.
Ned Fleming went in search of his grandfather.
Isn't this great?
Are we finished bonding yet?
What he found was himself.
Maybe for the first time, you feel alive.
It's taken me 20 years to become a part of your life. I'm staying right here.
Mel Harris, Edward Asner, Out of the Woods, Tuesday at 9 on Hallmark Channel. For Judge Amy Gray,
Your Honor, in closing...
Sit down, Mr. Rhodes. I'm ruling.
there's only one thing more challenging than family court.
I'm looking at this as a judge. Well, stop it.
Family life. Amy Brenneman and Tom.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
What you doing, boy?
Oh, Ellie's fella said I could try on his frogman's outfit.
Oh, is Mark here?
Oh, not yet, but he's coming.
Well, don't let Granny see you wearing this stuff.
Hey, how come Granny's so dead set against Ellie's fella being a frogman?
Granny's scared of the water. I remember back home, when the cricket rise, you couldn't get it across it for love nor money.
I recollect Ma saying that Granny wouldn't set foot outside the cabin in a heavy rain.
That's a fact. I remember one time the creek rose, cut Granny off from her still for a whole month.
What'd she do?
Nothing she could do. Considering the fact we was having a flood, that was the longest dry spell Granny ever had.
Has she always been like that?
Long as I can remember. I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that woman say,
If the good Lord had meant us to swim in the water, he'd have give us fins and gill. And I hope you explain that to Mark Templeton.
But, Granny, Mark can't stay out of the water. It's his job. He's a Navy frogman.
Then get him to quit.
But we both likes the water.
Darling, it ain't natural for humans.
It's fun, Granny. Even Jethro wants to be a frogman.
Oh, no. If Jethro turns into a frogman, his ma will kill me.
Well, Jethro's done said that's what he wants to do.
Well, him I can handle. I'll just cut off his victuals.
Speaking of victuals, Mark says there's more food in the ocean than any other place.
Oh, so that's why Jethro wants to be a frogman.
Mark says there's enough food in the ocean to feed the whole world for hundreds of years.
Not after Jethro's been there for a couple of days.
Ellie Mae?
In the kitchen, Pa.
Mark's here.
Morning, Ellie. Granny.
Howdy, Mark.
Good morning, young fella. Now, Elliot, would you and your pa mind running on for a minute? I got a few things I want to say to Mark.
Oh, yes, Granny.
Now, Mark, something you want, Jed?
Yeah, I want to hear what you're going to say to Mark.
Oh, well, I was just going to tell him how much he resembled John Wayne. He's a cowboy actor, you know.
Yes, I know.
You ever think of being a cowboy?
No, I never have.
Oh, you'd sit tall in the saddle just like John. Up there where it's nice and dry.
I'm afraid I'm not much of a horseman.
Well, it's better than being a frogman.
I was afraid that was coming. Now, Granny, you're just going to have to get used to the notion that Mark likes it, Ellie is took with it, and Jethro is in a cement pond right now learning how to be a frogman.
He's in the water already?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta save him! He's Pearl's baby!
Who's Pearl?
Jethro's ma. And the only woman I know who is as scared of water is Granny.
Hello, Froggy. You can have the cement pond all to yourself. This rubber suit is hot. Once you get out of the water. Hey, there's some bugs down at the deep end.
Please don't let it be too late for Pearl's sake. Amen. Jethro, are you in there, honey boy? Speak to me. Oh, no. I didn't make it. I'm sorry, Pearl. I've done my best. But you'll be happy to know that he's alive and well and eating as usual. Come on over here, Jethro. Come on, boy. I'll try and get a pretty girl to kiss you. And if that don't work, I'll have to take you to that psychiatrist. Come on, boy. Come on over here. Stop eating them bugs and listen to me. I'm sorry to keep bothering you all the time, Doctor.
Not at all. That's what I'm here for.
None of the girls in the secretarial pool would help me. So now you're my only hope.
Well, I'm glad to know you have faith in me.
Oh, I do. You work wonders with Mark and Ellie.
Oh, yes, they're the frogs you brought in yesterday. Lovely couple.
Thanks to you.
Did they get married?
Not yet. We can't keep them out of the water long enough to have a wedding.
Still hoping for a formal wedding, are you?
Oh, sure. Jethro here is going to be the best man.
Oh, this is Jethro.
Yeah. He's Ellie's cousin, Pearl's boy.
Well, how nice. Well, now, what can I do to help you today?
You can tell Jethro here to stay out of the water. He won't listen to me.
Jethro, stay out of the water, please. For Granny's sake.
And for his mama's sake. Pearl is scared to death of water.
His mother is scared of water?
Won't go near it.
Well, that's very unusual. She's aquatic.
No, she's a Bodine. I don't recollect aquatics. Anyway, Pearl married Fred Bodine, handsome rascal. He come up from Branson, swept Pearl right off of her feet. Poor fella drowned, though.
He drowned?
When Jethro was still a baby. I think that's why Pearl is so scared of water. His paw drowning that way.
Why, don't believe I've ever heard of one of them drowning.
Far as I know, he's the only Bodine who ever did. He was out in a boat with Jim Owen, and it turned over.
And he couldn't swim to shore?
No. The water in Lake Taneycomo is just icy cold. Old Jim died for him time after time. They finally pulled him out unconscious.
Well, old Jim certainly tried his best.
You know Jim, do you?
Not personally, no.
He just wrote a book.
Oh, about the tragedy.
No, it's a book of jokes and funny stories.
Well, he certainly got over it, didn't he?
Well, time is the great healer, as us doctors know.
You're a doctor?
Oh, yeah.
Are you an MD?
That's right. Mountain doctor. I just wish I was good enough to cure Jethro. But you're the only one that can do that. So, I'll leave him with you.
Well, now, just exactly what am I supposed to do for Jethro?
Turn him back the way he was, like you done for Mark and Ellie. You worked wonders with them. Ellie's beautiful and Mark's handsome as can be.
Oh, and you want me to make Jethro here handsome?
No, I'll settle for having him the way he was.
You rang, Chief?
I've been ringing for 20 minutes. Where have you been?
I took the girls in the secretarial pool out for a coffee break. They've been through quite an ordeal.
What happened?
Well, it seems Granny took that frog of hers in and insisted they kissed the loathsome creature.
Well, did they?
Well, of course not.
They're fired.
What?
Miss Hathaway, that family has $95 million in this bank, and if they want something kissed, it gets kissed.
But, Chief, a frog!
Frog, hog, dog. I demand loyalty and intelligence.
What is intelligent about...
Is Granny here with that frog she wants kissed?
No. Have you tried the secretarial pool?
Yeah. They wouldn't kiss me neither.
Mr. Drysdale's office. Oh, yes, Dr. Klingner. She did. Yes, well, I'll take care of it right away. Jethro, Dr. Klingner on the next floor has Granny's frog. Will you pick it up, please, and take it home?
You mean I ain't gonna get kissed?
Go see Dr. Klingner.
I ain't gonna kiss him. All right, Froggy. Run around to the cement pond and have yourself another swim. You're commencing to look dried out.
Hello, Jed.
You look all bushed. What's the matter?
I am. That's a long walk from the bank. Even if you cut across, you gotta jump walls and climb fences.
How come you didn't let Jethro drive you?
Jed, that boy is in no shape to drive.
Why not?
Don't ask me. I might have to tell Pearl. And it's not the kind of thing you want to say twice.
Now you got me plumb curious. Couldn't you just...
Hey, Granny.
You're back, honey boy. Oh, let me look at you. Turn around. Oh, you're all right. Jeddy's all right. Tell him he's all right, Jed.
You're all right, boy.
Oh, you're beautiful, darling. Tell him he's beautiful, Jed.
You're all right, boy.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you, darling. Pearl, sweet baby boy. Oh, Jethro, I love you. Tell him you love him, Jed.
You're all right, boy.
Oh, my baby. Oh, I could hug you. Hug him, Jed.
I'm sticking with your all right, boy.
Hey, Granny, I'm awful hungry. Can I have some victuals?
Come and sit down, darling. Granny will fix you some delicious victuals for that sweet little rosebud mouth. Look at your sweet little rosebud mouth, Jed.
This is getting sickening. See you later. Well, youngest, how you doing?
Just fine, Paul. This scuba diving's fun. You ought to try.
That's an idea, Mr. Clampett. I think my gear will fit you.
I believe I'll pass on that.
Well, you're a good swimmer.
Well, yeah, but I ain't up to that underwater stuff.
I'll teach you. It's easy.
Come on, Paul, try.
No, darling, I'm a little over the hill for this kind of thing.
A lot of people your age scuba dive.
Sure not?
I know a man got to be 20 years older than you are. Dives every day.
Is that a fact?
Come on, Paul, be a sport.
Well, I guess it wouldn't do no harm to give it a try.
That's the spirit.
You'll like it.
How would you like some salted down possum shanks instead of chicken?
Fine with me.
I just happen to have a jar of them over here in the cupboard. I was saving them for a special occasion. And you're it, honey boy.
Jethro, can Paul borrow your swimming trunks?
Sure, Ellie. It's up in my room.
Ellie Mae, what does your Paul want with swimming trunks?
Mark's gonna learn him to be a frogman.
Oh, no. Not him, too.
Jethro, did Ellie come through here?
Yes, sir. She's fetching my swim trunks for you.
Well, I don't want her to say nothing to Granny about me being a frogman. But I'm going to give it a try.
Oh, no, you ain't.
Granny, get off!
You ain't gonna be no frogman. You're the last one I got left.
Jethro, get this wildcat off my back.
Okay, Uncle Jed. Quick as I finish these victuals.
Get her off now.
Here's the swimming trunks, Paul.
We'd best keep them out of sight, Ellie. Your granny's having a conniption fit.
Put me down, you lop-eared jackass.
But, Granny, you said I was your honey boy. You said I was beautiful. You said I had a rosebud mouth.
If I could get a swing at you, you'd have a rosebud nose.
Take her up to her room, Jethro.
Ellie, don't let your Paul become a frogman. I'm begging you.
But he wants to, Granny.
Then get a gun and shoot me. I don't want to live with a family of frogs.
Take her on up, Jethro. We'll give her one of them tranquilizers.
Give me gas. Hang me. Poleaxe me. Please, somebody end my suffering.
You go on down to the cement pond, Ellie. Quick as we get Granny quiet, I'll join you.
Yes, sir, Paul.
Granny, I'll put you on your bed so she can have a little nap.
Don't bother. Just throw me in my cedar chest, nail the lid down, and bury me 6 feet deep.
Okay.
What are you doing, boy?
Oh, No, Granny wants to be buried in her cedar chest. Hey, you nail down the lid, I'll go dig a hole.
Take her out of there.
But you always told me to obey Granny.
Take her out there and put her on the bed.
Golly.
Don't bother, Jethro. Just throw me out the window.
What are you doing now?
Well, Granny wants to get thrown out the window. Would you please open it for me?
Bring her back here like I said.
You tell me to do one thing, she tells me to do another. I don't know who to listen to.
Listen to me. Put her on the bed. You, Granny, swallow this.
Is it poison?
Of course not.
Then I don't want it.
I know where there's some poison.
Boy, wait out in the hall.
Oh, you try to please everybody, and all you get is yelled at. You say this, I say that. I don't know who to listen to.
You take one of these tranquilizers, Granny.
Well, if I do, will you promise to stay out of the water?
No, I won't.
Well, I'm warning you. Jethro will eat your legs.
Maybe you better take 2 of these.
Now, you run along, Jed. I'll be just fine.
That's good. Just rest.
Yeah, that's what I'll do, Jed. I'll just rest.
That's my Granny.
You're a dear, sweet man, Jed. I love you.
I love you too, Granny. No use trying the window. I nail it shut.
You're a mean man, Jed. And you're going to be a mean frog.
That was wonderful, Mr. Clampett.
Did you say something?
You were great. Just great.
Thank you.
How'd you like it, Pa?
It's fun, just like you said.
Father's just like you and Jethro. Natural. Now, we can only convince Granny.
Forget it. Oh, did you unlock Granny's door?
Yes, sir, Pa.
How is she?
Well, she's just laying on her bed muttering to herself about how she'd have to go see Dr. Klingner again.
Where you going, Granny?
Down to the cement pond and get the latest frog.
Oh, did you change your mind? Gonna cook his legs for me?
Cannibal.
Excuse me, young'uns, I'll get shed of this outfit.
Who's Dr. Klingner?
He's a psychiatrist Granny's seeing.
Good. Maybe he can cure her aquaphobia.
Or what?
Fear of water.
Oh, I sure do hope so. It's Granny's pet frog.
Is that the one she named Mark?
I don't know. I can't tell them apart.
She seems to be able to. Hi, Granny.
Howdy.
Would you like a ride down to Dr. Klingner's office?
I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Where's your paw?
He's changing.
He's changed. Come on over here, Jed.
That's a different one.
I'm glad I'm not the only one she names frogs after.
Come on, Jed. Swim over here and get in your cage. We got to ride down to Dr. Klingner's office. I hate to keep pestering you, Doctor, but you've done such a good job on Jethro.
Yes, he does seem to look happy.
Oh, this ain't Jethro. This is his uncle, Jed Clampett.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Clampett.
Don't apologize to him. He brought it on himself. I begged him. I pleaded with him. He wouldn't listen. You'd think he'd know better at his age.
Just how old is he?
He's in his 50s.
Really? I didn't know they lived that long.
Oh, yeah. His grandpa lived to be over 100.
Fantastic. Then, of course, many of the amphibious families do have a remarkable lifespan. For example, the terrapins.
I don't believe I know that family. Is they friends of the aquatics?
Yes, they're related.
Oh. Well, I hope the terrapins ain't having the trouble with their kinfolks that I'm having with mine. Especially him. I'm ashamed to admit that he's my son-in-law.
This one is your son-in-law.
Yeah, he's Ellie's pa.
Oh, Pearl's cousin, the one Jethro calls Uncle Jed.
That's right. And I'm Granny to all of them.
Yes. Well, now, what seems to be Jed's problem?
His problem is that he's a frog.
Yes, he definitely is a frog.
And it's so stupid. He's got everything.
What do you mean?
He's worth $95 million.
He is?
Owns a mansion in Beverly Hills. But is he content to stay in it? No, not him. He's got to jump in the cement pond like the rest of his family.
Well, they're just naturally drawn to water.
That's the truth. And I'm getting sick of it. Well, I'll leave him with you, and I hope you can do for him what you done for Jethro.
I'm sure I can.
Bless you, Doctor. I ain't gonna ask you how you do it. You got your professional secrets, and I got mine.
Right, Doctor.
My specialties is poultice and ricins and ease and rheumatiz.
Excellent fields.
If you ever gets to aching in the joints, I got some rheumatiz medicine that's out of this world.
Will it actually cure rheumatism?
No, but it'll make you happy you got it.
Greetings, Mr. Clampett.
Howdy, Miss Jane. Come on in.
Thank you, Mr. Clampett. I'm afraid I haven't time. Dr. Klingner asked me to return Granny's frog. She left it in his office again.
Funny how that woman has took a fondness to these little critters.
Apparently. Well, au revoir.
Oh, thank you.
If you're not hopping hedges, you're dodging dogs. Get off of there and go on back home, you little mutt.
Here's your cage back, Granny.
Glory, hallelujah, Dr. Klingner done it again.
That's right.
Do you have a craving to eat bugs, Jed?
Of course not.
Good. Take off your shoes and I'll check your feet.
No more of this for you, Granny. You've had plenty.
The award-winning series where family matters.
Where did you get the nerve to do that? From you.
Judging Amy, Monday at 3 and 9 on Hallmark Channel.
Everything we found indicates that he's the one. Can you help me?
For top defense attorney Mike McBride, there's more to this case than meets the eye. See John LaRoquette in the Hallmark Channel mystery movie, McBride, The Chameleon Murder, Friday night at 9. Only on the Hallmark Channel.
Y'all come back now. Here.
This has been a film-waste presentation.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Now watch, Duke. I'm going to show you one more time how to fetch a stick.
Jethro, can't you do that out back? Mark's coming by, and I don't want him to see you crawling around like a nut.
Who you calling a nut?
You. You've been trying to learn that dog to fetch a stick for 10 years.
Well, it takes time. He ain't as bright as I am.
What you doing, youngin?
I'm learning Duke to fetch a stick.
And I don't want Mark to see him.
Don't worry, darling. Come on, boy. I got something a lot better than fetching sticks. Got a nice juicy bone for you.
Ah, dog. Lead me to it.
The bone is for Duke.
How do you like that? I do all the tricks. The dumb old hound dog gets the reward.
Well, take Duke around back and you can share the bone with him.
You don't expect me to gnaw on the same bone with this old hound dog, do you? That's what you call unsanitary.
He's right, Pa. Duke might catch something.
You're gonna get yours, cousin.
Jethro, you and Duke make yourself scarce.
Thanks, Paul.
Come on, Duke. Let you and me go around back. Hey, Uncle Jed, did you see that? He done it. He finally done it. He picked up the stick. Hey, why do you reckon he's taking it around back?
So you can fetch it for him some more. He likes that.
Oh.
Howdy, Mark.
Morning, Mr. Clampett.
Oh, I'm glad I caught you. I got a little word of caution.
Oh, what's that?
Don't say nothing to Granny about going in the water or making Ellie into a frog woman. It plumb sets her off.
I know. I think maybe I got a way to win her over.
I'd like to hear it.
Well, if Granny could ever see the fascinating world that lies under the surface of the ocean.
You can stop right there. There ain't nobody gonna get that little woman under the water.
I'm sure of that. But I brought along a projector and screen and some underwater film.
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
Believe me, Mr. Clampett, when we show this to Granny, she'll be as hooked as everyone else who's ever had a glimpse of the wonders that exist in the ocean depths.
My doggy's Mark, could be. You got the problem whooped.
No, let me go. Put me down. That frogman ain't taking me to the bottom of no ocean.
Eddie, he's only taking you there on film.
He ain't taking me there on nothing. Put me down. Help! Ellie, help. They're gonna drown me.
Ain't nobody gonna drown you, Granny. Mark's gonna show you a movie.
A movie?
That's right, Granny. I think you'll enjoy it.
Is it a Western? I love cowboy pictures.
This isn't exactly a cowboy picture, but I'm sure you'll like it.
Well, let's all sit down and watch together. Must be mighty interesting exploring under the sea.
It's not only interesting, Mr. Clampett, it's necessary for the survival of the human race.
Is that a fact?
We're going to have to learn to farm the sea to feed the people of the earth.
Do tell.
Mark knows a heap about it, Paul.
Well, I'd like to hear more.
Look, Granny, ain't that pretty?
Not to me, it ain't. Looks like the time the creek rose and flooded the tater patch.
That's where folks is going to do their farming someday, Granny.
Well, they sure is gonna have rusty plows. That thing looks like an underwater bat.
Hey, Granny, look at all the fish.
Fish only looks good in a skillet.
Yeah, I bet you never thought there was things like that under the ocean.
No, and let it stay there. Water is for fish and land is for people, and let's keep it that way.
Water isn't such an unnatural place for us, Granny. Many scientists believe that originally we came from the sea.
The only sea I come from was Tennessee.
But Granny, it's so beautiful down there. I just love to see it.
Honey, you don't know what you're saying. You gotta be a nut to want to go down there.
I want to go.
See what I mean?
Granny, everybody got a right to their own opinion.
Not when they're wrong. Now, Mark, you listen to me. You give up this frogman nonsense and be a cowboy.
Me, a cowboy?
That's right. A range-riding, calf-roping, dust-kicking cowboy. Live on a ranch and raise babies, not guppies.
Don't mind Granny. She's kind of set in her ways.
Yeah, you could plant that little woman and grow 10 acres of stubborn.
I like the picture, Mark. Made me hungry for fish.
Good morning, Chief. Sorry I'm a little late, but what in the world is all this?
All this, Miss Hathaway, is to impress the young Navy lieutenant who, if he marries Ellie Mae Clampett, will come into $40 or $50 million.
You expect to impress him with this? The first time he was here, you throw him out of the office.
Oh, I explained that to him. The natural resentment of a lowly sailor toward an officer.
Lowly sailor, you were in the Army.
That is a secret which shall remain a secret. To Lieutenant Mark Templeton, I am Spunky Drysdale of the United States Navy.
Spunky Drysdale?
3 ships went down under me.
Only 3.
Well, I didn't want to overdo it.
Why the limp?
Shark bite.
Chief, you are not to be believed.
Well, he believed me. To him, I'm as Navy as Bull Halsey.
Well, you certainly fit the first half of that name.
Watch it, Hathaway.
Oh, but Chief,
Skipper to you. Now think Navy. This is a ship. I am the skipper. You are just one of my crew.
Request permission to mutiny?
Stow that kind of talk, sailor. Now, in 15 minutes, I'm expecting Lieutenant Templeton. I want everything shipshape fore and aft. Hatches battened, bulkheads secured, all hands at the ready. Now, here's your bosun's whistle, your navy blouse, your hat. Now, heave to.
I may at any moment.
Off the bridge! Off the bridge!
You know, it's kind of hard for an old dirt farmer like me to understand that notion about farming the sea.
But you fired, huh, Pa?
Oh, I am for a fact. The way he explains it makes a lot of sense.
Of course, the most important thing is that we use the resources of the oceans intelligently, not pollute them as we have our atmosphere. And that takes research. Research takes money.
Well, money is something I happen to have a lot of. You recollect how much, Ellie?
Well, last time I heard it was somewhere betwixt 95 and 100 million.
Yeah. Well, what if I would take about 40, 50 million and chuck it into this research?
I can't think of a better cause than oceanography.
Well, let's talk some more about this after you see Mr. Drysdale.
Okay.
What are you seeing him about, Mark?
He didn't say, Ellie. Just asked me to drop by the bank at 11 o'clock.
Well, see you when you get back.
Bye.
Bye.
Lieutenant Mark Templeton to see you, sir.
Pipe him aboard. Ahoy, Lieutenant. Welcome to the bridge.
Hey, you really are Navy, aren't you?
Ah, it's in my blood. Stand watch, Hathaway. See that we're not disturbed.
Aye, sir.
What time is my next appointment?
Lunch at 12 o'clock.
What was that, sailor?
Sorry, Skipper. Mess at 8 bells.
That's better. Shape up or ship out.
Aye, sir.
And secure that hatch.
You know, I don't remember your office being like this. Of course, you threw me out so fast, I really didn't get a good look.
Well, Lieutenant, I explained that. It was suddenly seeing this uniform and having those war years flash before me. Hearing those young officers yell at me, man that gun, defuse that faulty torpedo.
I know, it must have been rough.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not grousing. It was great training. It taught me how to run this bank the way a captain runs a ship, the just way, the honest way, the Navy way.
Sorry to see that shark bite still bothering you.
A life of pain is a small price to pay for those qualities the Navy gave to me. Character, integrity, and courage.
You're a good man, Spunky Drysdale.
Gosh, sir. No one's called me that since I pulled the skipper out of the water at Midway. But I didn't ask you in to hear about my 5 years of self-sacrifice and devotion. I want to know how things are going with you and Ellie Mae.
Oh, fine. She's a wonderful girl.
And her father's a wonderful man. Wise, too. You know, he keeps his entire fortune in my bank because he knows it has the strength and security of a battleship. And if you should ever come into some money, I'm sure you'll do the same.
Speaking of Mr. Clampett's fortune, you talked to me only this morning about the possibility of taking 40 or 50 million.
My boy, tell me more.
Yes, I think it will interest you because you love the sea, don't you?
Love the sea? Mark, my boy, when this old sailor's heart stops beating in this shark-ravaged body, I want it taken out on the bosom of the Pacific and lowered into the everlasting embrace of Mother Ocean.
You really love it.
More than life itself.
Well, that's great, because you may want to make a donation yourself.
Donation? To what?
Oceanography. That's what Mr. Clampett wants to donate 40 or 50 million for.
Oceanography?
Yes, he's convinced that marine research is...
Where did he get that stupid idea?
Well, for me, but I wouldn't call it stupid.
You're right. Insane is a better word.
Mr. Drysdale's for the sea.
It's for the birds. Hathaway on the double.
Aye, sir. You want the lieutenant piped over the side?
I want him thrown over the side.
What?
Get him out of here. If he gives you any trouble, call the shore patrol and have him locked up. He's dangerous.
What happened?
He suddenly went berserk.
Now hear this, off the bridge. Out! Out! They'll lock him in a brig and throw away the key. Lieutenant Lunkhead, the maniac. 50 million in the ocean.
Hello. Oh, howdy, Mr. Drysdale.
Oh, listen, Granny. Now, whatever you do, don't let Ellie get serious about this Lieutenant Templeton. The man's as nutty as a fruitcake.
I've been telling everybody he's a frog brain, but nobody will listen.
I'll listen. I'm on your side.
Good. That makes 3 of us.
And we'll win. Who's the third one?
Jethro.
Maybe we'll win anyway. I'll be right over.
Hey, what's going on?
We was all going down to the cement pond for another scuba lesson.
Where you been? Fishing? Catch anything? Nothing but a mess of frogs. I'm gonna tote them out to the kitchen so that Granny...
Oh, boy, don't bring Granny no frogs to cook.
Oh, I forgot. She done took a sudden fondness to them critters.
Granny's making pets out of them.
I think she's got one name for every member of the family. And me, too.
I don't know if she does that for love or spite.
Jethro, give me the frogs. We'll tote them down to cement pond and turn them loose.
Okay. Hey, listen, how about me having another scuba lesson, too?
Come along. There's plenty of gear.
Jethro, I'm surprised you ain't too hungry to swim.
I was, but I stopped off at Mama Nacarelli's and had me 24 pizzas.
24? All alone?
Oh, no. Had them with spaghetti and meatballs and macaroni and cheese and spumoni, rigatoni,
Where you been, Mr. Drysdale?
Spying on the enemy. They're all down at the swimming pool learning to swim underwater.
Oh, here we go again. They's gonna turn into frogs.
They look like 4 frogs now.
Well, sit down and have some... 4?
Yes, Mark, Ellie, Mr. Clampett, and Jethro.
Jethro's gone over to their side.
Yeah, things are starting to look up. Thank you. Now, let's plan our strategy. We've got to stop Mark Templeton from marrying Ellie Mae.
He can't marry nobody the shape he's in now.
That's the truth. He wants to pour millions of dollars into the ocean. He hasn't got a brain in his head.
Oh, it's there, but it's shrunk up. Ain't any bigger than the end of your thumb.
I doubt if it's that big.
Well, there's only one person that can help him now. That's Dr. Klingner.
The psychiatrist in my building?
Yeah, Miss Jane told me. He's a whiz.
I hear he's brilliant.
He's the only one that can change Mark when he goes froggy.
Mark has been to Dr. Klingner?
Oh, I had him there a couple of times. Straightened him right out.
Well, take him back. Take him back.
Might as well take all 4 of them.
Good idea. Group therapy.
Well, there you are, Doctor, and the whole stupid family. Jethro, Ellie Mae, and Lieutenant Mark Templeton.
Who's that little fellow?
I don't know. Must be some neighborhood kid that jumped in the pond with them. Well, you know what to do. Miss Jane is waiting to drive them home. Quick as you work your magic. Come in, Miss Hathaway. You know Dr. Klingner.
Yes, hello, Doctor.
Miss Hathaway.
Well, see you at home.
Well, how will you get there?
Oh, I want to walk. I need time to think and pray.
That little lady has the most extraordinary frog fixation. She thinks these frogs here are her family.
Who's the little one?
Neighbor kid. The most remarkable manifestation is her absolute conviction that that one is a lieutenant in the United States Navy.
He is. Well, just his real-life counterpart, Doctor. He's a naval frogman.
Oh.
He's teaching the rest of the family to scuba dive, and Granny is convinced that every time they go underwater, they turn into frogs. She's an extreme aquaphobic.
Oh, well, now I'm beginning to understand. Well, the first thing we must do is to try and treat her aquaphobia.
Well, that won't be easy.
Well, fortunately, she seems to have complete confidence in me, and scuba diving is a hobby of mine.
Well, that's wonderful. Once she sees you in the water, her fears will vanish.
Well, it's worth a try. Oh, can you drive me over?
Oh, of course.
Oh. Sharon, would you mind rounding up these frogs?
Oh, of course, darling.
And I'll be back for my 2:00 appointment.
George, I don't think she knows that we're married.
Oh, you're Mrs. Klingner.
Right,
I was about to apply for your job.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Klingner, this is Jed Clampett.
Pleased to meet you, Doctor.
Mr. Clampett?
Ellie Mae?
Howdy, Doctor.
Ellie, you're much lovelier as a girl than you were as a frog.
And this is Jethro.
Howdy, Doc.
Jethro?
And Lieutenant Mark Templeton.
Glad to hear you're a scuba enthusiast, Doctor.
Well, I haven't had too much practice lately, but I still think I can put on a demonstration for Granny.
Isn't that a marvelous idea?
Sure is. Brilliant. Well, it's a start. Now, I think it's very important that when Granny gets here, we two be alone.
Oh, we'll make ourselves scarce.
You'll find plenty of gear over there in the dressing room.
Oh, thank you.
Come on, everybody. I sure do hope this will help Granny get over being scared of water.
If anyone can help Granny,
Yonder comes Granny.
Hallelujah, he done it again. Let me look at you. Oh, you're beautiful, perfect, just like you was. Oh, I'm so happy. Miss Jane, thank you for fetching him home. And thank Dr. Klingner for another miracle.
Well, you can thank him yourself, Granny. He's here.
Dr. Klingner?
That's right.
Where?
He's fixing to go into the cement pond and swim underwater.
Oh, no, not him.
That's right, Granny.
See, Granny, we ain't so crazy. He wants to be a frogman himself.
Oh, no, I gotta stop him. Oh. Doctor, if you're in there, get out quick before it's too late. The longer you stay under the water, the more chance you have of turning into a... Oh, no! Doctor, you of all people, after you've seen what happened to the others, how could you do it? I don't know nobody that can change you back. What's that pretty secretary of yours gonna think when you hop in looking like that? To say nothing of your next patient. Oh, well, all I can do is take you down there and try and explain how it happened. Come on now. Come on over here. Get in the sack. Now, darling, before I show you what's in this sack, I want to ask you, how long have you been the doctor's secretary?
Oh, golly, let's see. I worked for him a year before we got married, so that would be going on about...
You're his wife?
That's right.
Oh, me. That's gonna make it double hard.
Hard to what?
To open this sack. Before I do, I want you to think back to your wedding vows. Remember how you promised to take the doctor for better or for worse?
Yes.
Well, you've had the better. Here comes the worse. There he is, honey.
Who?
Your lawful wedded husband, George M. Klingner, Jr.
Yes, of course. Yes, hi, George. My, you certainly are looking well.
Mrs. Klingner, you're a brave woman, and you're taking this real good. But let's face it, he don't look well. He's a mess.
Well, he certainly isn't the man I married.
That's for sure. What do you aim to do with him?
I think I'll take him home to the children.
You got young'uns?
Yes. They might enjoy keeping him in the fish pond.
Mrs. Klingner, it's one thing to be brave, but if that man ever needed love and affection, he needs it now.
Yes, and you're right, and I will see that he does get it.
Just remembered something. It might be our salvation. Do you remember the story of the pretty girl that kissed the frog and turned him into a handsome prince?
Yes.
Try it.
Well, I hardly think that
I've seen it work, darling. Try it. Pick him up in your hands and kiss him.
Well, I don't...
I won't watch. I know it's embarrassing. Ellie felt the same way. I'll leave.
Thank you.
Good luck, and I'll be praying for you.
Well, George, you wanted to be a psychiatrist.
Hi, hon. Everything all right?
The frog lady was just here.
Granny.
Yes.
So that's why I missed her at the swimming pool. Who's that?
You.
Handsome devil, isn't he?
I think so.
has been a film-raised presentation.
Viacom.
For dramatic effect as he looked directly at Jed. If there only existed a man who combined the qualities of both. Tall, simple, humble, honest. A rugged outdoor man with a mustache. Granny looked from Honest John to Jed, her mouth falling open. You're describing Jed? One who had never been involved in politics, Honest John added. That's Jed, Jethro cheered. Who? Ellie Mae asked. Jed Clampett. He's sitting right here, Granny shouted, pointing a finger at her son-in-law. Jed blushed, waving his hands defensively. Now, Granny. Honest John struck a pose, looking upward as if struck by divine revelation. By charge, I think she's got it. Shucks, no. Did you hear that? Shucks. No. Says everything. He's simple, he's humble, he's honest. He's tall. And he's got hair on the lip. He's our man. Jed shook his head firmly. Forget it. I can't handle nothing as important as this. Honest John stepped up to him, placing a firm, dramatic hand on his shoulder. Mr. Clampett, when Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory, was asked to fight the Battle of New Orleans, do you know what he said? What? Jed asked. Forget it. I can't handle nothing as important as this, Honest John quoted with a grin. Is that a fact? Jed asked, thoroughly impressed by the historical parallel. But he won, and you will win, Honest John declared. History has chosen you, and you cannot refuse. Do it, Jed, Granny urged. Then we are sure to get an invite to the White House. Jed looked at his family's hopeful faces, his sense of duty finally winning out. Well, I ain't gonna do it just for that. Then you will do it? Honest John asked, his heart leaping with greed. Well, at least the president's mine. Least I can do is try, Jed agreed. Spoken like a true patriot, Honest John cheered. I will take you to Princess Sitting Hawk and act as your interpreter. Jethro looked at him with awe. You talk Indian? I learned as a child. The fraud lied smoothly. The tongue of the Columbia Indians was the second language in our home. How come? Jed asked. Well, many moons ago, my family befriended the tribe, Honest John explained, spinning a grand yarn. When all other pale faces were against them, the Indians knew they could always find refuge in the home of a Schaefer. It was nice of your folks to take them in. Our name has become part of the Indian language, synonymous with hospitality. To this very day, to be taken in is to be Schaefered. A short while later, Honest John led Jed down a quiet, wooded path near the outskirts of a local park, where a makeshift canvas teepee had been hastily erected behind some thick bushes. Sitting cross-legged in front of the tent was Max, wearing a ridiculous feathered headdress, an oversized wool blanket, and a face completely covered in bright red and yellow grease paint. Look, Jed, I think I see her, Honest John whispered, pointing through the leaves. Is that her, Honest John? Jed asked, looking with great reverence at the bizarre figure. Yep, Honest John nodded solemnly. There she sits in front of her lonely teepee, the last of the noble Columbia Indians, the ancient and venerable Princess Sitting Hawk. Does she sit there all the time? Granny asked, having followed them along with Ellie Mae and Jethro. Day and night, winter and summer, rain or shine, she keeps silent vigil over home, Honest John claimed. Jed shook his head in sympathy. You think they'd let her stay in a White House? It's on her land. On the contrary, Honest John sighed. Why, they have cannons to keep her out. Well, if that don't beat all, Jed said, his temper flaring slightly at the injustice. Cannons to keep out a poor old 150-year-old Indian woman? You can't hardly blame her for feeling spiteful. Is that why she wears all that war paint? Wouldn't you if somebody pointed cannons at you? Honest John asked reasonably. Now, you have sympathy and understanding for her cause. She's gonna like you. I feel it. Can we go talk to her now? Ellie Mae asked eagerly. I will ask her, Honest John said, stepping forward and raising a hand flat toward Max. He let out a series of bizarre, nonsensical syllables trying to sound authentic. She has agreed to a powwow. Chattanooga. Choo-choo. Paleface Cayuga. Jed blinked. What did you say? I told her you were very friendly, Honest John explained quickly. Max, trying to deepen his voice, let out a loud, guttural grunt. Paleface Sequoia. She says you're tall. She likes that, Honest John interpreted. Max shifted his blanket, grunting again. Paleface Anderosa. She likes your mustache, Honest John said to Jed. Max nodded his heavy headdress. Paleface Tippecanoe. Shoshone too. She says you're a combination of Lincoln and Roseland. Honest John translated with a straight face. Jed smiled politely. That's right, Cayuga of her. Max let out a sharp, unexpected cough. Paleface Potawatomi. Honest John quickly covered, waving his hands. No, Potawatomi. Jed looked confused. What was that? She wanted to know if you're a politician, Honest John explained smoothly. Tell her I'm a farmer, Jed said firmly. Honest John turned back to Max, letting out another string of gibberish. Max responded with a slow, solemn nod. Paleface Manitoba. Ah, Tallahassee. She's very pleased, Honest John said. Granny stepped forward, wanting to contribute. Tell her I'm a doctor. Honest John nodded, speaking to Max again. Paleface Squaw Zuni. Max grunted appreciatively. Ah, Zuni. She's very impressed, Honest John noted. Jethro frowned, listening closely to the exchange. I didn't get no Tallahassee out of her. Honest John glared at the boy briefly before turning back to Max with an extra loud. Tallahassee. Tallahassee. Max nodded quickly. That's better, says Catchawan. She's invited us to sit down, Honest John announced, gesturing to the grass. Jed settled his long frame onto the ground, looking directly at the disguised Max. Well, maybe we better get down to business. Ask her if she'll sell me the White House property. I'll do that. Tell her if she does, I'll do my best to chafer her, Jed offered with absolute sincerity. What? Honest John asked, caught off guard. Take her into the White House, Jed explained kindly. Oh, yes, Honest John said, realizing the beautiful irony of the situation. But, Jed, we ain't been tooken ourselves yet. Jed smiled warmly, looking at his family gathered around the teepee. Don't worry, dear friends. Before this day is over, I promise you will be thoroughly chafered. Suddenly, from within the small canvas tent, a strange, metallic rattling sound echoed, followed by the distinct sound of a carbonated beverage being opened. Jed looked puzzled, staring at the flap of the teepee. What's Sitting Hawk doing in there? Honest John quickly scrambled to his feet, blocking the entrance with his body. She's getting help from the spirits. Granny sniffed the air suspiciously, catching a distinct whiff of something fermented. Well, she ought to lay off. Sounds like she's had enough. Oh, no, Honest John insisted, sweat dripping down his brow as Max let out another loud, guttural grunt from beneath his blanket. She's contacting the spirits of her ancestors who have gone to the happy hunting grounds, asking their advice. Jed nodded respectfully, entirely unaware of the deception. I hope they advise you to sell me the White House. First thing I'm going to do is take them cannons away. Yeah, Jethro agreed, looking around the park. Not. Honest John watched the pen strokes with bated breath. Boy's got a great head for ciphers, ain't he? He's a real knothead, Granny commented dryly. Jed tore the check from the book and handed it over. Well, there you are, Mr. Honest John. I hope that primes the pump. Beautiful, Honest John whispered, staring at the 7-figure sum. The president will be delighted. Are you going to show it to him? Jed asked. At our afternoon meeting, the con man promised, slipping the check into his vest pocket. Jed checked the position of the sun in the sky. What time is that again, my good man? 3 o'clock, Honest John said, recalling the taxi driver's words. That'll be on time. I'm a busy man. You must know the president pretty good, Jethro remarked, thoroughly impressed. Pals, buddies, Honest John bragged. Jethro stepped forward eagerly. Well, why don't you take us to the meeting with you? We'd like to say howdy to him. And he'd like to say hi-dee to you, Honest John lied without blinking. Oh, golly. However, the Secret Service requires security clearance. Jed frowned slightly. Will that take long? Do you happen to have birth certificates, color photographs, passports, and a complete set of fingerprints with you? Honest John asked, knowing full well they did not. Why, no, we ain't, Jed admitted. Well, I'm afraid it'll take a while, the fraud sighed with feigned regret. Meantime, I'll put you up at a nice, comfortable hotel. Yeah, Jethro cheered. Taxi, taxi. An hour later, the family was settled into a grand, gilded suite at a luxury hotel overlooking the city center. Jed was standing by the massive balcony window, looking out over the marble monuments. These are dainty fine accommodations, Mr. Honest John, Jed said, turning back to the room. Well, thank you, Mr. Clampett, Honest John said, pouring himself a glass of water from a silver pitcher. Here, let me show you something. Here you have a magnificent view over the entire city of Washington. Well, isn't that pretty? Jed smiled. Granny, believe me, Mr. Honest John is fixing us up real nice here, eh? Granny sat rigidly on a plush velvet armchair, her jar of chitlins held firmly in her lap. Well, it's all right, but it ain't like staying at the White House. Sure ain't, Jethro agreed from the sofa, where he was testing the fluffiness of the cushions. They got a kitchen over there where a fella can get a snack when he's hungry. Ain't we gonna get to stay at the White House at all? Ellie Mae looked up from her basket, where the baby possum was currently sleeping. Ellie Mae, don't pay no attention to him, Mr. Honest John. He is acting awful pushy. Not at all, Honest John smiled, his mind already working on the next phase of the operation. As soon as I have straightened out the matter of security clearance, I'm sure the president and his wife will issue you a formal invitation. Oh boy, Jethro cheered. Jed turned back to the fraud, his face serious. Well, you tell them that they ain't taking in a family of freeloaders. We'll pitch in and help with the housework and the chores. I'll make that matter crystal clear to him, Honest John promised, moving toward the door. We're glad of life to you. Glad to do it, Jed smiled. See you later, friends. As the door clicked shut, Honest John sprinted down the hallway to a nearby utility closet where Max was waiting with their suitcases. Shifty, baby, how'd it go? Honest John pulled the slip of paper from his pocket, waving it triumphantly. Like $1 million, and here it is, $1 million. Beautiful, Max gasped. I can have us packed in 5 minutes. Honest John frowned, grabbing his arm. Wait a minute. Where are we going? Mexico, Venezuela, you name it, Max said, already moving toward the elevators. Flo, there are 94 more where this came from, Honest John pointed out, his greed completely overriding his caution. Now, don't get greedy, Max warned, pulling back. Let's take our $1 million and play it safe. Baby, this is a chance of a lifetime. Think big. Honest John insisted, his eyes narrowing with a manic intensity. I'm thinking big, Max countered. We could get 20 years apiece. Max, I got those hillbillies in the palm of my hand. They're grapes waiting to be picked. The con man declared confidently. How? Max asked skeptical. Well, I got $1 million for smog. I'll get $1 million for something else, Honest John reasoned. How? Max repeated. I'll think of something, Honest John said, pacing the carpeted floor. I'll sell them the White House. How? How? Max asked, sounding entirely unconvinced. Honest John stopped, pointing a finger at him. You sound like an Indian. That's it. You're gonna be an Indian. What? Max gasped. It's beautiful. They'll love it? Honest John laughed, slapping his associate on the back. You are the last of the Columbia Indian. An hour later, Honest John had returned to the Clampett suite. His face twisted into an expression of profound, theatrical tragedy. The family gathered around him immediately, sensing something was amiss. And that, dear friends, is why the president is embarrassed to invite you to the White House, Honest John concluded, wiping a fake tear from his eye. Jed looked shocked. You mean he don't even own the house he lives in? Not so much as a stick of furniture belongs to him, Honest John sighed heavily. That's terrible, Granny muttered, her maternal instincts instantly firing. No wonder he can't ask us to stay. I'd feel the same way in somebody else's house. Who owns it? Honest John leaned in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. The White House stands on Indian ground. No, Ellie Mae gasped. Yes, this entire area was once occupied by the Columbia Indians. Honest John explained with complete falsehood. That is why, to this day, it is called the District of Columbia. Jed scratched his chin, his logical mind trying to find a solution. Well, can't the government buy it from the Indians? There's only one surviving member of the Columbia tribe, and she refuses to sell. Honest John revealed. She? Granny asked. Yes, the ancient and noble Princess Sitting Hawk, the fraud stated grandly. Jethro tilted his head. What noble mean? A proud and defiant woman, Honest John described, pacing the room. Not all the pale-faced pony soldiers can drive her from the land she feels is rightfully hers. Why won't she sell? Jed asked, deeply intrigued by the tale. Sitting Hawk does not trust politicians. She says they speak with forked tongue. Honest John explained. Well, can't the president get her to sell the White House to him? Jethro asked. I've been chief executive since Lincoln has tried, Honest John claimed wildly. Granny's eyes went wide. Lincoln? How old is she? Well, no one knows for sure, but at least 150. Honest John asserted without blinking. Indians does live a long time, Jethro nodded sagely. Jed leaned forward. She wouldn't even sell to Lincoln? Well, she likes certain things about him, Honest John admitted, weaving his trap carefully. The fact that he was tall, a simple man, humble, honest. I would say that Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt have come closest to impressing Princess Sitting Hawk. She favored Teddy, did she? Granny asked. Well, he was a rugged outdoor man. She admired that, Honest John continued. She liked his mustache. She called him Chief Hair on the Lip. Them two was the only ones that come close, huh? Yes, Honest John said, pausing to the president. The quicker he can commence fighting smog. Jethro was already eyeing the grand front doors. Sure, I'll breeze him down for supper. I'm starving. Granny shook her head, looking worriedly at the massive building. Jed, if that boy takes his meals at the White House, the president's wife will never get out of the kitchen. I can help with the cooking, Ellie Mae offered brightly. No, Ellie, I'll do that, Granny insisted, her pride as a homemaker taking over. You make the beds and do the dusting. And Jethro, you can mow the White House lawn and rake the leaves. Jethro frowned, crossing his arms. Let Ellie do that. The president needs me for my brain. Oh, pooh. I'll likely be in the East Room or someplace sitting on his cabinet. Jed turned to his nephew with a look of stern but gentle correction. You keep your feet off the president's furniture. A few yards down the sidewalk, standing near a side entrance to the White House grounds, two men in sharp suits were arguing quietly behind a thick marble pillar. It was Shifty Schaefer, a notorious local con artist known to the Clampetts as Honest John, and his associate, Max. Looks like we made it. The climate's on here. See you at the hotel? Max whispered, checking his watch. Shifty, what if they don't show up? Max asked anxiously. They'll be here any minute, Honest John assured him, a slick smile stretching across his face. I checked their flight. How are you going to get past the guard? Max asked, gesturing toward the rigid Secret Service agent standing at the gate. I'll handle it, Honest John said confidently. It's important for the Clampetts to see me coming out of the White House. 'Kay, good luck. Honey. Yeah. Honest John straightened his tie, puffed out his chest, and marched directly toward the iron gate, adjusting a fake identification badge pinned to his lapel. He took a deep breath and shouted grandly to the empty air. Jaffa, FBI, hold it. The guard on duty turned slowly, his expression entirely unamused. What is it? What? Honest John blustered, waving his hands dramatically. The president is waiting. What is it? I need to see your identification, the guard said, stepping into his path. Honest John looked insulted, leaning in close. You don't recognize me? Nope, the guard replied flatly. Honest John smiled broadly, turning back to look at the distant pillar where Max was hiding. Good. I told you, Edgar, this was a perfect disguise. See you later. He tried to push past the barrier, but the guard's arm clamped down firmly on his shoulder. Hold it. Look, you're delaying high-level meetings, Honest John snapped, trying to look authoritative. Now, what do you want? I want to see your pass, the guard demanded. My pass? Of course, my pass, but... Honest John paused, fumbling through his pockets with practiced theatricality. How do you know? I must have left it on the president's desk. I'll go get it. Hold it, the guard repeated, his hand moving closer to his belt. Now what is it? Honest John asked, sweating slightly. I can't let you in without a pass, the guard stated plainly. Honest John narrowed his eyes, trying a different angle. Is that your final word? It is, the guard said. Honest John suddenly broke into a wide grin, clapping the guard on the arm enthusiastically. Excellent. You have passed the test with flying colors. Congratulations. Now let me see. Now, you are guard number 16. Escape gets a 1 rating. The president will be pleased. The guard stared at him, entirely unmoved by the praise. Now, don't be surprised if there's a little something extra in your stocking at Christmas. Honest John continued, backing away slowly. Hold it, the guard said, taking a step forward. Now, look, you have proven your efficiency, my good man, Honest John stammered, his confidence evaporating. Don't press your luck. I may drop you to a B+. Just candy canes and bubble gum in your stocking. Beat it. Beat it. The guard raised an eyebrow, his patience visibly wearing thin. Honest John drew himself up for one final, desperate bluff. Cavil. 1 word from me and you'll be guarding a government igloo in Iceland. I am going to count to 3. If you are not gone. He glanced over his shoulder and saw a familiar group of tall figures carrying burlap sacks and wicker baskets walking up the main avenue. Never mind, I think my pigeons have just flown in from the West Coast. Danny, big house the president's got, Jethro remarked as the family approached the main gate. Nice big yard, too. Lots of room for critters. Reckon he's got a garden and chickens. Likely, I'd bet, Jed smiled, carrying 2 heavy suitcases. The taxi driver dropped the remaining bags on the sidewalk. Well, here's all our stuff. Here you are, Mr. Taxi Driver. Thank you, the driver said, taking the bills Jed handed him. Jed looked toward the guard gate. Now, tell me, what time is the next public tour of the White House? 3 o'clock, the driver replied before pulling away into the traffic. Yeah, remember that, Jed told Jethro. I'm gonna ask questions later. Tell the president I'll be there. Before they could take another step, Honest John swept down upon them like a hawk, his arms wide in an expression of overwhelming joy. Mr. Schaefer, Jethro cheered. Honest John, Jed smiled warmly, extending his hand. Well, bless my soul if it isn't the Clampetts, Honest John cried, shaking Jed's hand vigorously. What brings you to Washington of all places? We's here to see the president, Jed explained simply. We want to talk to him about the smog problem. We's gonna help him get rid of the stuff. Honest John's eyes gleamed with sudden, brilliant inspiration. What a coincidence. You just appointed me chairman of a very special committee for that purpose. Jed's face lit up with delight. I'm ready to give him my money if I just knew how. Another coincidence? Honest John beamed, rubbing his hands together. Just happens to be the function of my committee. Granny looked at him suspiciously from beneath her bonnet. Are you lying? I try to do my humble bit, Honest John said smoothly, turning back to Jed. Shall I make out the check to the president? As a matter of fact, the check should be made payable to my committee. Honest John corrected quickly. What's that? Jed asked. Citizens Against Smog Horror, the con artist announced grandly. Jed pulled a large checkbook from his coat pocket. That's quite a lot to write. Just use the initials, Honest John suggested with a sly grin. Jed nodded, repeating the words carefully as he wrote. Fine. Citizens. Against. Smog. Horror. Now, shall I make it for the whole 95 million? Honest John gasped, nearly choking on his own breath as he visualized the sum. But he quickly realized that trying to clear a check for $95 million all at once would trigger every alarm from the Federal Reserve to the Secret Service. He had to be smart. No, Honest John said, waving his hands. That might be a bit hard to handle. What do you mean? Jed asked, pausing his pen. Well, you see, other public-spirited citizens not as wealthy as you might be embarrassed and not contribute at all, the fraud explained smoothly. Oh, well, we don't want that to happen, Jed agreed thoughtfully. I'm glad you understand. Granny nodded in agreement. Give him $5, Jed. Lots of folks got that much. Honest John's smile faltered slightly. On the other hand, let's not go too far the other way. A little friendly embarrassment never hurt anybody. How about starting with $1 million? Jed smiled. Excellent. Just the right amount to get the ball rolling. He looked at Jethro. That's one announced. A World War I with the original cast. In living color with a surprise ending. Oh! Jane sighed happily. Isn't he fabulous? He certainly is, Drysdale agreed, though his mind was still on the ledger. It's been a real pleasure. Rich Little turned toward the door again. Wait a minute. You're forgetting something again. Oh, yes, you'll see, Drysdale said defensively. What are you charging her for Wayne and Sullivan? Oh, nothing, Rich Little laughed, slipping his hands into his pockets. I'll accept the same arrangement. Watch this. The next morning, back at the Clampett estate, the family was gathered on the front porch, looking somewhat restless. A white delivery truck pulled up to the curb, and a man in a crisp white uniform emerged, carrying a metal crate of milk bottles. He walked up the path, set a bottle on the porch step, and handed a small piece of paper to Jethro before turning back to his truck. Granny watched him go, her eyes narrowing. "Don't leave no milk for a spell. We is going to Washington, Granny." "Yeah?" Granny asked, squinted at the note Jethro was holding. "Well, you're going to Washington." "We is," Jethro yelled, reading the messy handwriting. "That's what the message says. Have a good trip." "Hey, Uncle Jed, we's going to Washington," Jethro shouted inside the house. "We just got the message." Jed walked out, adjusting his suspenders. "What did you say, boy?" "We's going to Washington," Jethro repeated, pointing a finger at the departing delivery truck. "The fellow in the white coat just brought the message from the president." Jed looked toward the street. "Well, where is he?" "Yonder he goes," Jethro said. "Ain't that the milkman?" Jed asked, scratching his head. Jethro smiled knowingly, tapping his nose. "Being a milkman is what you call a cover." "Cover?" Jed asked. "He's really a secret agent for the government," Jethro whispered conspiratorially. "Is he not?" "Yeah. I learned all that stuff when I was a double-knot spy." Jed looked at the note, then back at the truck, thoroughly convinced by Jethro's faulty logic. "Well, I reckon we best get packing." "Should I convert my electric car back to steam?" Jethro asked, eager to work on the engine again. "No, I think we better fly," Jed decided. "When the president sends for you, you don't want to keep him waiting." Meanwhile, in the bustling lobby of the local airport terminal, Milburn Drysdale was frantic, holding a red courtesy telephone to his ear while Jane stood nearby, surrounded by shopping bags. "Well, if he comes in, will you please ask him to call his office immediately? It's an emergency." "Thank you." Drysdale slammed the receiver down and turned to his secretary. "How do you like it, Miss Hathaway?" "Chief, where have you been?" Jane asked, gesturing to her new outfit. "Shopping," Drysdale snapped. "Any messages?" "Oh, just one, but it's a beauty," Jane said with a grim smile. "The Clampetts are leaving for Washington." Drysdale's face drained of color. "What?" "They're determined to give their $95 million to the president," Jane explained. "We've got to stop them," Drysdale cried, grabbing his chest. "Get rich, little back." Jane rolled her eyes. "You're kidding." "Huh." Drysdale pulled out a checkbook, scribbling his signature on a blank leaf before ripping it out and shoving it into her hand. "Here's a signed check. He can make it out for any amount he likes. I'll get up to the Clampetts and delay them until he calls." He sprinted toward the security gate, screaming over his shoulder. "I made it. They're still here. Clarence, Granny, Ellie Mae, Jethro. There's everybody. Oh, hello. Bessie, is that for me? How are you?" He reached the gate just as the family was handing their tickets to the flight attendant. Jed noticed him and handed him a folded piece of stationery. "Dear Mr. Drysdale, please feed the critters till we get back." The grand commercial airliner cruised smoothly through the sea of clouds, its engines humming a steady, comforting tune. Inside the cabin, the Clampett family was experiencing the height of modern luxury, though their interpretation of the amenities remained distinctly rustic. A polite flight attendant walked down the aisle, stopping by Jed's seat with a warm smile. "Enjoying your flight?" "Yes, ma'am. Thank you," Jed replied, tipping his hat politely. "We's going to Washington to see the president. We's going to give him $95 million. The attendant blinked, her smile freezing slightly as she took in the casual mention of such an astronomical fortune. "Oh boy, you know the president." "Talked to him this morning," Jed said proudly, pointing over his shoulder toward Ellie Mae. "I'm fetching him a baby possum." Ellie Mae reached into a small wicker basket at her feet, revealing a tiny, fuzzy creature that peeked out with curious pink eyes. And I'm taking him a jar of pickled pawpaws and some hand-slung chitlins, Granny added from the window seat, patting a large glass jar resting in her lap. Jethro leaned across the aisle, eager to share his engineering prowess with the staff. We was going in my electric car, but I couldn't find no 3,000-mile extension cord. The flight attendant chuckled nervously, stepping back a pace. That's very interesting. Jed looked out the window, trying to gauge their altitude by looking at the tiny shapes of houses below. Young lady, how high would you say we're flying? A lot higher than the plane, Jethro answered for her, looking thoroughly impressed by his own deduction. The small television screens mounted on the cabin ceiling flickered to life, displaying a promotional advertisement for a popular network. A gentle voice-over echoed through the speakers. Weeknights on Hallmark. Watch great stories. I'm an angel, and witness the miracles. Touched by an angel. Weeknights at 8 on the Hallmark Channel. Maxine's job is to keep families together. In just a few minutes, you will be one big happy family, including her own. Mom, you have to stop. Stop what? I know you mean well, but you really have to let me grow up. I thought I did that already. Amy Brenneman and Tyne Daly in Judging Amy. Monday at 9 on Hallmark Channel. Jed watched the screen with mild interest before turning back to the window as the landscape below began to change, shifting from open fields to a massive, sprawling cityscape dominated by white stone monuments and grand, rolling green lawns. I got the wind, everybody, Jethro shouted, pressing his face against the plexiglass window. We're flying over a right pretty town. Jed leaned over Granny to look out. That there's Washington, D.C. Anybody see the White House? Appears to be lots of white houses down there, Granny observed, squinting through her spectacles at the vast neoclassical architecture of the Federal District. The chime above the aisle sounded, and the flight attendant's voice came over the speaker system. Would you fasten your seatbelts, please? Yes, ma'am. We'll be landing in a few minutes. Jethro looked alarmed, rubbing his stomach. You gonna feed us again before we land? The attendant smiled as she passed by. I'm afraid there isn't time. Granny slapped Jethro's arm lightly. You done had 4 meals and 3 snacks. Why, it makes me hungry, Jethro pouted. But we's landing now. Landing makes me hungry, too, Ellie Mae agreed, carefully securing her possum basket. As the plane touched down and the family gathered their numerous sacks and baskets, they stepped out into the bustling air of the capital city, quickly securing a large yellow taxicab that drove them straight to the perimeter of the executive mansion. Standing outside the tall black iron gates of the White House, the family looked through the bars at the magnificent residence. We go straight to the White House, Pa? Ellie Mae asked, her eyes shining with wonder. I think so, Ellie, Jed said, adjusting his heavy coat. The quicker we give our money to this will teach them a great lesson. Thanks, but no thanks, Jane said, stepping back. I promise, this is the last favor I'll ever ask, Drysdale begged. Forget it, Jane said firmly. What? Drysdale yelled. If you're too chicken to throw yourself out the window, I'll do it. All right, come over here. I can't throw you out from there. Before any tragic or ridiculous leaps could be made, a loud, cheerful honking sounded from the street below, echoing up into the office. Drysdale and Jane rushed to the window to see the Clampett truck parked at the curb, completely silent this time with no steam in sight. Jed was standing by the vehicle, looking down at Jethro, who was waving a massive tangled web of black wires. What's all the honking for, boy? Jed asked as he exited the bank building. I done come up with an invention that beats steam, Jethro announced proudly. Yeah, I see the boilers going. Jed noted, looking at the silent frame. Yes, sir, Jethro beamed. Notice how quiet she is? No noise, no smoke. No smoke, Jed asked, impressed. She runs on electricity, Jethro declared. Well, doggy, I'm real proud of you, boy, Jed said, patting his shoulder. Just then, Ellie Mae came running down the sidewalk, holding a long, jingling telephone extension cord that stretched all the way from the mansion down the road. Pop, Pop, the presidents are calling you. All the way from Washington. Jed gasped, taking off his hat. The President of the United States is calling me? Yes, Sir Bob, Jethro cheered. They're bringing the old fellow to the phone, Mr. Little. Back in the banker's office, Drysdale was frantically listening to a second line, speaking to a man named Mr. Little, a talented impressionist he had hired in a desperate bid to save his deposits. Isn't he in a straitjacket? Drysdale whispered into the receiver, referring to the elaborate story he had concocted. Oh, no. He's not dangerous. He just suffers from the delusion that he's worth $95 million. Jane shook her head in disgust as she overheard. No wonder he's in the funny farm. The whole family, you know. It's wonderful of you to look after them. They're very sweet people. Nothing but sweet, Drysdale agreed into the phone. Hurry, Dan. Don't keep them waiting. Down on the street, Jethro was tugging at Jed's sleeve. Hey, tell them about my electric car. Jed took the receiver from Ellie Mae, his voice filled with reverence. Hello? Hello? Judge Clampett speaking. On the other end of the line, Rich Little cleared his throat, perfectly mimicking the distinct, authoritative voice of the nation's chief executive. Hello, Mr. Clampett. This is the President speaking. Is that sure enough you, Mr. President? Jed asked, his eyes wide with awe. Oh, yes, make no mistake about that. I am the President, the voice assured him. Jed turned to his family, whispering fiercely, That's him, all right. He spoke back into the phone. Now, Mr. Drysdale has told me of your generous and patriotic offer to donate your entire fortune to the fight against air pollution. Yes, sir, it's only $95 million, but you're sure welcome to it, Jed said warmly. And we'll bring it right to you right there in the White House. The whole family. Granny shoved her face close to the receiver, shouting, This here's Granny, Mr. President. I'll bring you some pickled pawpaws and some hand-slung chickens. Ellie Mae crowded in next. Mr. President, this here's Ellie Mae. Would you like a nice little baby possum to play with? Jed smiled. My nephew Jethro ain't here to say howdy, but he's gonna drive us all the way to Washington in his brand new invention, the electric car. On the other end, the faux president gasped slightly, trying to stay in character. No. Don't come to Washington. We've got enough people like you here already. You public-spirited citizens, I mean. Well, how do we get the money to you? Jed asked, scratching his head. Well, I'm glad you asked me that, the voice responded quickly. I want to make this point very clear. What is the point I want to make very clear? Leave your money in the bank, the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, where it will draw maximum interest, a compounded, semi-annual, in the care of your wise and friendly banker, Melvin Drysdale. Jed nodded, completely accepting the presidential decree. Well, naturally, we'll do whatever you say, Mr. President, but the family's gonna be awful disappointed. We was hoping to get away to Washington. Oh, no, don't try to get away, the voice urged, a bit of panic slipping through. You'll stay right there and do what the nice man in the white coat tells you. Goodbye. The line went dead, and Jed slowly handed the receiver back to Ellie Mae. What did he say, Jed? Granny asked eagerly. He said he don't want us to come to Washington right now, Jed explained softly. Well, what are we supposed to do, Pa? Ellie Mae asked, her face falling. He says he's going to send a man in a white coat to tell us, Jed said, looking a bit confused himself. Jethro kicked a tire on the truck. Jethro, I just talked to the president, and we won't be driving to Washington in your electric car. Jethro shrugged, looking down at the massive coil of black wire in his hands. Just as well, Uncle Jed. I never found an extension cord long enough to get us there. Meanwhile, back upstairs in the executive suite, Rich Little let out a breath and set the phone down. Jane Hathaway clapped her hands together. Mr. Little, that was a magnificent performance. Thank you, the impressionist smiled. Well, your impersonation of the president was absolutely incredible, Jane praised. Thank you. I hope to see you again sometime. Take good care of yourself, Rich Little said, turning to leave. Drysdale stepped in front of him, blocking the door. Mr. Drysdale, aren't you forgetting something? Oh, what's that? Drysdale asked, feigning ignorance. My fee, Rich Little stated firmly. Oh, yes. How much is it? Drysdale sighed, reaching for his wallet. Well, ordinarily, I receive $7,500 for a performance, the artist explained. However, in this case, I'll cut it in half. How's $3,750? Drysdale winced, counting out bills reluctantly. $3,750 it is. 20, 40. Now, you owe me $2.50. No, that's $3,750, Rich Little corrected, taking the cash. A 5 minutes work? Drysdale complained. The president doesn't get that much, and he's the real thing. Just then, Jane walked back into the room holding a stack of folders. Excuse me, Chief, these foreclosures are red. Aren't you Rich Little, the impressionist? Yes, I am, he smiled warmly. Oh, Mr. Little, I just love your impression of John Wayne, Jane gushed, her usual stern demeanor completely melting away. Rich Little instantly shifted his posture, lowering his voice into a perfect, rugged drawl. Huh? Well, thank you very much, ma'am. Now, let me say that if we had girls like you out on the trail, I never would have given my horse a second look. Jane clapped her hands to her cheeks, blushing furiously. Oh, that is marvelous. Thank you. Hey, and your Ed Sullivan is an absolute classic, Drysdale added, suddenly interested in the entertainment. Rich Little cracked a wide, toothy grin, squaring his shoulders and pumping his arms slightly. Oh, Ed Sullivan? Wonderful. Would you do me a favor there, young sir? Would you come on our show next Sunday night and bring your stuffed giraffe? Yes. I'd love to have you. What else are you going to have on the show? Jane asked, completely charmed. Shifting back to Sullivan's voice, Rich Little, oh no, Jed explained. This fellow's going to drill a tunnel through the San Bernardino Mountains, put in a great big fan and draw all the smog out of Los Angeles. Drysdale stared at him, completely flabbergasted. But that's a preposterous idea. Yeah, we like it too, Jed smiled. Jane cleared her throat, trying to bring some official gravity to the situation. Mr. Clampett, the problem of smog is too big to be handled locally. It has to be solved on a national level. Is that a fact? Jed asked, listening intently. Only the president can get together the brain power and the vast amount of money necessary. Jane continued. Why, this $700,000 isn't even a drop in the bucket. Jed's face fell slightly. Well, how much does the president need? Oh, millions, billions, Jane said, throwing her arms wide. Drysdale immediately saw his opening and grabbed the sack again. I'll just take this chicken feed back to the bank. I'll study on it, Mr. Drysdale, Jed said, letting the banker pull the sack a few inches. No, give up, Chief, Jane advised. No, Drysdale snarled, dragging the heavy sack toward the door. Hold it, Hathaway. I'm not through with you. What now? Jane sighed. You are guilty of conduct unbecoming an employee of the Commerce Bank, Drysdale declared grandly. Oh, big deal, Jane muttered. For cowardice in the face of action, Drysdale listed off, pointing an accusatory finger. For failure to obey a direct order. For treachery and insubordination. You are hereby dishonorably discharged as a guard and reduced to the rank of secretary. Hallelujah, Jane cheered, tossing her heavy hat onto a nearby chair. Don't expect a Christmas bonus this year, Drysdale warned. I have never had a Christmas bonus, Jane noted flatly. Well, don't expect one this year either, Drysdale snapped. Now get the truck. As they stepped out onto the grand driveway, a loud hiss wheeze echoed through the courtyard. A thick, white plume of white vapor was billowing from the back of the family's old truck. Boy, what have you done to that truck? Jed asked, rushing forward as Granny and Ellie Mae ran out of the house. Looks like the boob has set it on fire. Jethro, what did you do? Granny shouted, waving her apron to clear the vapor. Jethro was sitting proudly behind the steering wheel, covered in a light layer of soot but grinning from ear to ear. I converted this rascal to steam. You are looking at the answer to air pollution by automobile. The Jethro Bodine steam car. I have perfected a clean engine. Granny threw her hands up. I'm going back inside. I told you that for this clean engine jokes. Uncle Jed, Jethro called out, ignoring Granny's departure. Honest John ain't going to be needing his money no more now that I whipped the smog problem. So I use it to mass-produce my steam car. Hold on, boy, Jed said, walking around the sputtering vehicle. According to Miss Hathaway, only the president himself can handle a small problem. The President of the United States? Jethro asked, his eyes wide. That's right, Jed nodded. He's the only one that can bring together the brains and the money. Jethro stood up on the truck seat, looking grand. Well, here stands the whole kit and caboodle. I'll hop on my steam car, drive to Washington, pull up in front of the White House and give him the brains and the money, all in one package. Hold on, boy, Jed cautioned. What you got there is just a drop in the bucket, and it ain't likely enough money either. Granny peeked back out the front door, having heard the mention of large sums. Talking about the money, Granny, Mr. Drysdale says the president's lot will need millions, even billions. I was thinking of giving him all my money. Okay, Jethro shouted, jumping down from the truck. I'll stop by the bank and get the rest of it. Ellie Mae ran to her father's side, pulling on his sleeve. Well, Pop, if Jethro goes to Washington, I want to go too. Granny marched out onto the porch, her traveling bonnet already in hand. And they ain't going without me. Jed smiled warmly at his family. I was just coming to that. I think it'd be a fine trip for the whole family. I best go leave a note. For the milkman. Tell him we is going to Washington. Back at the Commerce Bank, Milburn Drysdale was frantically dictating a letter to Miss Hathaway, his face pale with anxiety. And since you have failed to make your final payment promptly, we are forced to repossess your automobile. Sincerely, your friendly banker, Milburn Drysdale. Jane stopped typing and looked up, horrified. Chief, you're telling your own brother you're repossessing his car? Drysdale paused, looking slightly guilty. Well, that is a little cold, isn't it? Postscript. Regards to Betty and the babies. Before Jane could resume typing, the heavy oak doors of the office swung open, and Jed walked in, carrying the familiar burlap sack over his shoulder. Yes, who is it? Drysdale called out, his voice instantly switching to its most welcoming tone. It's me, Mr. Drysdale, Jed said, placing the bag gently on the desk. I fetched you back your sack of chicken feed. Drysdale practically lunged across the desk, hugging the sack to his chest. Oh, bless you, bless you. Jane watched the display with a smirk. Quite happy to get it, ain't he? No chicken could be happier, Jed observed with a smile. I studied on what you said about letting the president fight the small. Wonderful, Drysdale beamed. The cashier tells me that, counting this, I got right at 95 million in your bank now. Jed continued casually. Wonderful, Drysdale repeated, his eyes turning into dollar signs. So we're going to take it to Washington and give it to the president, Jed concluded. Drysdale's jaw dropped, and the sack slipped from his fingers. Mr. Clampett, you can't give all your money to the president. Why not? Jed asked, genuinely puzzled. Oh, because it, Drysdale stammered, turning wildly to his secretary. Miss Hathaway, tell them why not. Jane crossed her arms. Why not? Not that way, explain it, Drysdale hissed. Jane turned to Jed, her tone respectful and honest. Mr. Clampett, it is your money. You may do with it as you wish. Drysdale glared at her. Who asked you to butt in? You did, Jane pointed out. Well, butt out, Drysdale snapped. He turned back to Jed, his face contorting into an expression of deep bureaucratic concern. Now, Mr. Clampett, this will take time. Government red tape, Internal Revenue, Secret Service, White House clearance. Now, I'll work it out and call you. Well, I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry, Jed said, tipping his hat. Because we'd like to get started. Right away, Drysdale promised, ushering him toward the door. Oh, and you don't have to give us the 95 million in cash, Jed added as an afterthought. I reckon the president will take a chance. Well, I'll discuss it with him. I'll let you know, Drysdale said, finally closing the door behind the hillbilly patriarch. He turned to Jane, his voice rising to a panicked shriek. Miss Hathaway, you've got to help me. If they take their money out of my bank, I'm ruined. I've got nothing to live for. Oh, now, Chief, Jane said, trying to soothe him. Drysdale grabbed a piece of paper and a pen, scribbling furiously. A suicide note that will stop them. Here, take this, Mr. Clampett. Because you are withdrawing your money, my death is on your hands. Chief, no, Jane gasped. Now, tie that up, pin it to your dress, and throw yourself out the window, Drysdale ordered, pointing to the glass pane behind his desk. Jane stared at him in utter disbelief. Me? They love you, Drysdale reasoned frantically. In a crisp, white uniform shirt and matching trousers stepped out, carrying 2 glass bottles of fresh milk. He walked up to the back porch, where Granny was sorting through a basket of laundry. Don't leave no milk for a spell, Jed called out, walking down the back steps to join her. We is going to Washington, Granny. The delivery man looked confused, setting the bottles down on the wooden crate. Yeah? Well, you're going to Washington. Jed looked up, surprised. We is. That's what the message says, the delivery man said, pulling a folded piece of paper from his pocket that had been forwarded to his route by mistake from the local telegraph office. Have a good trip. Jethro came running around the side of the house, catching the announcement. Hey, Uncle Jed, we is going to Washington. We just got the message. What did you say, boy? Jed asked, turning to his nephew. We is going to Washington, Jethro repeated excitedly, pointing at the delivery man who was walking back to his vehicle. The fellow in the white coat just brought the message from the president. Jed looked at the departing vehicle, a realization dawning on him. Well, where is he? Yonder he goes, Jethro pointed. Jed squinted through the bright sunlight. Ain't that the milkman? Jethro grinned, nodding sagely with an air of immense conspiratorial knowledge. Being a milkman is what you call a cover. Jed looked thoughtful. Cover? He's really a secret agent for the government, Jethro explained confidently, crossing his arms. Is he not?
Yeah.
I learned all that stuff when I was a double-knot spy. Jed nodded, fully accepting Jethro's tactical analysis. Well, I reckon we best get packing. Jethro looked back toward the garage. Should I convert my electric car back to steam? No, Jed decided reasonably. I think we better fly. When the president sends for you, you don't want to keep him waiting. Meanwhile, back at the Commerce Bank, Miss Jane was frantically answering the telephones. Drysdale burst through the double doors, his hair disheveled and his tie askew. Well, if he comes in, will you please ask him to call his office immediately? It's an emergency. Thank you. Miss Jane said into the receiver before slamming it down. She looked up at her boss. How do you like it, Miss Hathaway? Chief, where have you been? Miss Jane asked, her voice tight with tension. Shopping, Drysdale replied dismissively, waving a small bags in his hand. Any messages? Oh, just one, but it's a beauty, Miss Jane said grimly, leaning across her desk. The Clampetts are leaving for Washington. Drysdale froze, dropping his shopping bag to the floor. What? They're determined to give their $95 million to the president, Miss Jane explained. We've got to stop them, Drysdale panicked, grabbing his coat. Get rich, little back. Miss Jane rolled her eyes. You're kidding. Huh. Drysdale reached into his pocket and pulled out a checkbook, scribbling his signature on a blank leaf. Here is a signed check. He can make it out for any amount he likes. I will get up to the Clampetts and delay them until he calls. He turned and bolted out the door, sprinting toward his limousine. He arrived at the airport just as the private charter flight was preparing for departure on the tarmac. Panting heavily, Drysdale sprinted up the passenger stairs and burst into the cabin. I made it, he wheezed, clutching the doorframe. They're still here, Jed, Granny, Ellie Mae, Jethro. There is everybody. He looked toward the front seat, where a large furry hound sat blinking at him. Oh, hello, Duke. Is that for me? How are you? He looked down at the seat next to Jed, where a small note was pinned to a basket. He read it aloud in horror. Dear Mr. Drysdale, please feed the critters till we get back. Before he could protest, the flight attendant guided him firmly backward out of the cabin, closing the heavy pressurized door as the engines began to roar. A few hours later, high above the continental United States, the Clampett family was enjoying the luxurious amenities of their first-class flight. The flight attendant walked down the aisle, offering a basket of warm towels. Enjoying your flight? She asked with a bright smile. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Jed replied politely. We is going to Washington to see the president. We is going to give him $95 million. The flight attendant chuckled, assuming it was a charming, eccentric joke. Oh boy, you know the president. Talked to him this morning, Jed nodded gravely. Ellie Mae leaned over her seat, holding a small, ventilated box. I'm fetching him a baby possum. Granny nodded from across the aisle. And I'm taking him a jar of pickled pawpaws and some hand-slung chitlins. Jethro looked up from his comic book, chiming in proudly. We was going in my electric car, but I couldn't find no 3,000-mile extension cord. The flight attendant smiled gently, nodding along. That's very interesting. Jed looked out the small oval window, observing the vast landscape passing far below them. He turned back to the attendant. Young lady, how high would you say we're flying? A lot higher than the plane, Jethro chimed in with an authoritative nod. As the afternoon sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a beautiful orange glow across the cabin, the internal entertainment system clicked on, displaying promotional spots for classic television programs. A warm voice echoed through the speakers. Weeknights on Hallmark. Watch great stories. I am an angel, and witness the miracles. touched by an angel. Weeknights at 8 on the Hallmark Channel. Granny peered at the screen, looking fascinated. Maxine's job is to keep families together. The narration continued as a scene of a family reunion played out. In just a few minutes, you will be one big happy family, including her own. On screen, a young daughter turned to her mother, saying, "Mom, you have to stop." "Stop what? I know you mean well, but you really have to let me grow up. I thought I did that already." The promo concluded. Amy Brenneman and Tyne Daly in Judging Amy. Monday at 9 on Hallmark Channel. Jed smiled at the display, appreciating the wholesome message of family unity. Just then, the captain's voice came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent into the nation's capital." "I got the wind, everybody," Jethro shouted, pressing his nose against the glass pane. "We're flying over a right pretty town." Jed leaned over to look. "That there is Washington, District of Columbia. Anybody see the White House?" "Appears to be lots of white houses down there," Granny noted, observing the grand marble architecture of the federal city. The flight attendant walked down the aisle, checking the overhead compartments. "Would you fasten your seatbelts, please?" "Yes, ma'am. We'll be landing in a few minutes." Jethro looked up anxiously. "You gonna feed us again before we land?" The attendant smiled, shaking her head. "I am afraid there isn't time. You done had 4 meals and 3 snacks." "Why, it makes me hungry," Jethro muttered, rubbing his stomach. "But we is landing now," Jed reminded him. "Landing makes me hungry, too," Jethro pouted. Ellie Mae looked excited, smoothing down her denim trousers. "We go straight to the White House, Pop?" "I think so, Ellie," Jed nodded. "The quicker we give our money to the president, the quicker he can commence fighting smog." "Sure," Jethro grinned. "I will breeze him down for supper. I'm starving." Granny looked sternly at her grandson. "Jed, if that boy takes his meals at the White House, the president's wife will never get out of the kitchen." "I can help with the cooking," Ellie Mae offered generously. "No, Ellie, I'll do that," Granny countered, asserting her culinary dominance. "You make the beds and do the dusting." Jed turned to his nephew. "And Jethro, you can mow the white," stepping up to the microphone apparatus Drysdale had set up. "Nothing but sweet." "Hurry, Dan. Don't keep them waiting," Drysdale urged into the phone as Jed picked up the extension at the mansion. Jethro ran into the telephone room, panting. "Hey, tell them about my electric car." Jed raised a hand to quiet his nephew, placing the receiver to his ear with an expression of deep reverence. "Hello? Hello? Hello? Jed Clampett speaking." Rich Little took a deep breath and perfectly channeled the distinct, authoritative, and resonant voice of the nation's chief executive. "Hello, Mr. Clampett. This is the president speaking." Jed's eyes widened. He gripped the phone tighter. "Is that sure enough you, Mr. President?" "Oh, yes. Make no mistake about that," Rich Little intoned flawlessly over the wire. "I am the president." Jed turned to his family, whispering with immense awe, "That's him, all right. Now, Mr. Drysdale has told me of your generous and patriotic offer to donate your entire fortune to the fight against air pollution," the faux president continued. "Yes, sir," Jed replied proudly. "It is only $95 million, but you're sure welcome to it, and we will bring it right to you right there in the White House. The whole family." He gestured for Granny to come closer. "This here is Granny, Mr. President." Granny leaned in toward the mouthpiece, shouting as if the distance required extra volume. "I will bring you some pickled pawpaws and some hand-slung chickens, Mr. President." Ellie Mae pushed her way forward next. "Mr. President, this here is Ellie Mae. Would you like a nice little baby possum to play with?" Jed pulled the phone back slightly, continuing the family update. My nephew Jethro ain't here to say howdy, but he is going to drive us all the way to Washington in his brand new invention, the electric car. On the other end of the line, Drysdale was frantically waving his hands at Rich Little, making driving motions and shaking his head violently. Rich Little quickly adapted his presidential tone, sounding suddenly authoritative and alarmed. No, no, no. Don't come to Washington. We've got enough people like you here already. You public-spirited citizens, I mean. Jed blinked, slightly disappointed. Well, how do we get the money to you? Well, I am glad you asked me that, Rich Little replied smoothly, channeling the classic rhetorical style of the presidency. I want to make this point very clear. What is the point I want to make very clear? Leave your money in the bank. Jed listened intently. In the bank. The Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, the voice commanded firmly. Where it will draw maximum interest, a compounded semi-annual, in the care of your wise and friendly banker Milburn Drysdale. Jed nodded slowly, nodding along with the logic. Well, naturally, we will do whatever you say, Mr. President. But the family is going to be awful disappointed. We was hoping to get away to Washington. Oh, no, no, don't try to get away, Rich Little urged, perhaps getting a bit too carried away with Drysdale's background notes. You'll stay right there and do what the nice man in the white coat tells you. Goodbye. The line went dead. Jed slowly lowered the receiver, looking perplexed. What did he say, Jed? Granny asked eagerly. He said he don't want us to come to Washington right now, Jed reported slowly. Well, what are we supposed to do, pal? Jethro asked, looking crestfallen. He says he is going to send a man in a white coat to tell us, Jed said quietly. He turned to Jethro. Jethro, I just talked to the president, and we won't be driving to Washington in your electric car. Jethro sighed, leaning against the doorframe. Just as well, Uncle Jed. I never found an extension cord long enough to get us there anyway. In the bank office, Rich Little set the receiver back down on its cradle, taking a deep breath. Drysdale was practically dancing around the room with joy. Mr. Little, that was a magnificent performance. Thank you, Miss Jane said, walking into the room with a stack of files, having returned from her lunch break. Thank you, Rich Little smiled graciously. Drysdale clapped his hands together. Well, your impersonation of the president was absolutely incredible. Thank you. I hope to see you again. Sometime. Take good care of yourself. He began nudging the entertainer toward the door. Rich Little planted his feet, clearing his throat significantly. Mr. Drysdale, aren't you forgetting something? Drysdale froze, his smile becoming strained. Oh, what's that? My fee, Rich Little stated simply. Oh, yes, yes, Drysdale sputtered, reaching reluctantly for his wallet. How much is it? Well, ordinarily, I receive $7,500 for a performance, Rich Little explained smoothly. However, in this case, I will cut it in half. How is $3,750? Drysdale gasped as if he had been struck. $3,750? He slowly began counting out bills from a cash drawer, his fingers trembling with every note. 20, 40. He paused, looking up with a look of financial agony. Now, you owe me $2.50. No, that is $3,750. For 5 minutes' work, the president doesn't get that much, and he is the real thing. Just then, Miss Jane stepped into the inner office, holding a collection of legal documents. Excuse me, Chief, these foreclosures are red. She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes widening as she recognized the gentleman standing by the desk. Aren't you Rich Little, the impressionist? Rich Little smiled warmly, stepping away from the trembling banker. Yes, I am. Oh, Mr. Little, I just love your impression of John Wayne, Miss Jane gushed, her usual professional demeanor completely melting away. Ha! Rich Little instantly shifted his posture, narrowing his eyes, moving his shoulders with a slow, heavy swagger, and adopting the unmistakable drawl of the legendary cowboy icon. Well, thank you very much, ma'am. Now, let me say that if we had girls like you out on the trail, I never would have given my horse a second look. Miss Jane clapped her hands together, laughing delightedly. Oh, that is marvelous. Thank you. Hey, and your Ed Sullivan is an absolute classic, Drysdale interjected, trying to smooth things over so he could conclude the transaction without further protest. Rich Little immediately shifted gears, raising his shoulders, bringing his hands together in front of his waist, and speaking with the distinct, staccato cadence of the famous television host. Oh, Ed Sullivan? Wonderful. Would you do me a favor there, young sir? Would you come on our show next Sunday night and bring your stuffed giraffe? Yes. I'd love to have you. Drysdale chuckled, momentarily entertained despite himself. What else are you going to have on the show? A World War I with the original cast. Rich Little as Sullivan replied with grand theatricality. In living color with a surprise ending. Oh! Miss Jane beamed at him. Isn't he fabulous? He certainly is, Drysdale agreed, though his eyes kept darting back to the cash drawer. It's been a real pleasure, Rich Little said, reverting to his natural voice and picking up his coat. Drysdale reached out, stopping him once more. Wait a minute. You're forgetting something again. Rich Little turned around, raising an eyebrow. Oh yes, you'll see. Drysdale looked at Miss Jane, then back to the entertainer, a shrewd look entering his eyes. What are you charging her for Wayne and Sullivan? Rich Little laughed, shaking his head at the banker's relentless pursuit of a discount. Oh, nothing. I will accept the same arrangement. Watch this. Back at the Clampett estate, a white delivery truck pulled up to the rear entrance. A delivery man dressed in even billions. I was thinking of giving him all my money. Drysdale, who had been listening from the bottom of the steps, nearly fainted. His heart skipped several beats. All your money? He whispered, his voice trembling. Okay, Jethro said easily, completely unfazed by the sum. I will stop by the bank and get the rest of it. Ellie Mae ran forward, her eyes wide with excitement. Well, Pop, if Jethro goes to Washington, I want to go too. Granny nodded firmly, her competitive spirit ignited. And they ain't going without me. Jed smiled at his family, pleased by their collective enthusiasm for national service. I was just coming to that. I think it would be a fine trip for the whole family. I best go leave a note for the milkman. Tell him we is going to Washington. Back at the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, Milburn Drysdale was pacing his office like a caged animal. He was tossing papers into the air and muttering incoherently. Miss Jane sat calmly at her desk, typing away as if her boss were not in the middle of a complete psychological breakdown. And since you have failed to make your final payment promptly, Drysdale dictated furiously, staring at a folder regarding a minor loan. We are forced to repossess your automobile. Sincerely, your friendly banker, Milburn Drysdale. Miss Jane stopped typing, looking up with an expression of profound disbelief. Chief, you are telling your own brother you are repossessing his car? Drysdale paused, looking slightly sheepish but quickly hardening his expression. Well, that is a little cold, isn't it? Postscript. Regards to Betty and the babies. Before Miss Jane could respond, a soft knock sounded at the office door. Yes, who is it? Drysdale called out impatiently. The door swung open, and Jed Clampett walked in, carrying the familiar large canvas sack over his shoulder. It's me, Mr. Drysdale. I fetched you back your sack of chicken feed. Drysdale sprang up from his desk like a jack-in-the-box, throwing his arms around the canvas sack as Jed lowered it to the floor. "Oh, bless you, bless you." Jed smiled, amused by the banker's intense affection for the currency container. "Quite happy to get it, ain't he?" he remarked to Miss Jane. "No chicken could be happier," Miss Jane replied dryly. Jed sat down in one of the plush leather chairs, placing his hat on his knee. "I studied on what you said about letting the president fight the smog." Drysdale beamed, rubbing his hands together. "Wonderful. The cashier tells me that, counting this, I got right at 95 million in your bank now." Jed continued mildly. Drysdale's smile grew so wide it looked painful. "Wonderful. So we're going to take it to Washington and give it to the president," Jed concluded calmly. The smile vanished from Drysdale's face so fast it was as if it had been wiped away by a squeegee. He froze, his jaw dropping. "Mr. Clampett, you cannot give all your money to the president." Jed looked puzzled. "Why not?" Drysdale sputtered, looking around the room for assistance. "Oh, because it... Miss Hathaway, tell them why not." Miss Jane looked up from her typewriter, her expression entirely serene. "Why not?" "Not that way, explain it," Drysdale hissed, glaring at her. Miss Jane turned to Jed, her voice gentle and supportive. "Mr. Clampett, it is your money. You may do with it as you wish." Drysdale whipped around, furious. "Who asked you to butt in?" "You did," Miss Jane pointed out logically. "Well, butt out," Drysdale snapped. He turned back to Jed, his face contorting into a mask of deep, paternal concern. "Now, Mr. Clampett, this will take time. Government red tape, Internal Revenue, Secret Service, White House clearance. Now, I will work it out and call you." Jed nodded, accepting the explanation with his usual good faith. "Well, I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry, because we'd like to get started." Right away," Drysdale promised, practically ushering Jed toward the door. "Oh, and you don't have to give us the 95 million in cash," Jed added thoughtfully as he reached the threshold. "I reckon the president will take a check." Drysdale let out a shaky breath. "Well, I will discuss it with him. I will let you know." The moment the door closed behind Jed, Drysdale collapsed against it, sliding down to the carpet. "Miss Hathaway, you have got to help me. If they take their money out of my bank, I am ruined. I have got nothing to live for." Miss Jane didn't look up from her paperwork. "Oh, now, Chief." Drysdale sprang back to his feet, a desperate, wild look in his eyes. "A suicide note that will stop them. Here, take this down." He grabbed a notepad and shoved it toward her. "Mr. Clampett, because you are withdrawing your money, my death is on your hands." Miss Jane stared at the note. "Chief, no. Now, tie that up, pin it to your dress, and throw yourself out the window," Drysdale ordered frantically, pointing at the large glass panes behind his desk. Miss Jane blinked. "Me? They love you," Drysdale reasoned desperately. "This will teach them a great lesson." Miss Jane tossed the notepad back onto his desk. "Thanks, but no thanks. I promise, this is the last favor I will ever ask," Drysdale pleaded, clasping his hands together. "Forget it," Miss Jane said firmly. Drysdale threw his hands up in defeat. "What? If you're too chicken to throw yourself out the window, I will do it." He marched toward the glass, but then paused, looking down at the multi-story drop. He turned back to her, his voice small. "All right, come over here. I cannot throw you out from there." Miss Jane simply shook her head, returning to her typing. Back at the Clampett estate, the sound of a loud, rhythmic honking echoed from the front driveway. Jed walked out onto the veranda, holding a glass of sweet tea, followed by Granny and Ellie Mae. Jethro was sitting proudly behind the wheel of the transport truck. which was no longer billowing steam. In fact, it was completely silent. "What is all the honking for, boy?" Jed called out, leaning over the wooden railing. "I done come up with an invention that beats steam," Jethro shouted back proudly. Jed looked at the front of the vehicle, noting the absence of vapor. "Yeah, I see the boilers going." "Yes, sir," Jethro beamed. "Notice how quiet she is? No noise, no smoke." Jed nodded, genuinely impressed. "No smoke." "She runs on electricity," Jethro announced, gesturing to a massive mass of car batteries strapped to the truck bed. "Well, doggy," Jed smiled, his voice filled with genuine warmth, "I am real proud of you, boy." Suddenly, the front door of the mansion flew open, and Miss Jane rushed out, her face flushed with excitement. "Pop, Pop, the presidents are calling you. All the way from Washington." Jed's jaw dropped. "The President of the United States is calling me?" "Yes, sir, Bob." Miss Jane nodded vigorously, ushering him inside toward the telephone room. Meanwhile, back in his office, Drysdale was standing next to a sophisticated-looking gentleman wearing a tailored suit. The gentleman was clearing his throat and practicing various vocal inflections. This was Rich Little, the renowned impressionist, whom Drysdale had hired at a moment's notice to execute a grand deception. "They're bringing the old fellow to the phone, Mr. Little," Drysdale whispered into the receiver. Keeping his eye on the door, he turned to the impressionist. "Isn't he in a straitjacket?" Rich Little looked confused. "Oh, no. He's not dangerous. He just suffers from the delusion that he's worth $95 million. Drysdale nodded quickly, playing along with his own lie. "No wonder he's in the funny farm. The whole family, you know. It's wonderful of you to look after them. They're very sweet people," Rich Little said kindly. "Hands up. It was dark when she dressed this morning. Now get off the money. See? Mr. Clampett is not going to let you take this money." "Okay, then you take it," Drysdale told Miss Jane in desperation. "Come on, get out. Forget it. We might just as well go back to the office." "Hey, Miss Jane," Jethro called out before she could turn around. "Before you go, just sit down and help me think of an idea on how to get rid of the smog." Miss Jane looked at the earnest young man with a touch of sympathy. "Jethro, dear boy, the finest minds in the country are working on that problem." "Yeah, but I ain't getting nowhere," Jethro admitted sadly. Drysdale grabbed Miss Jane's sleeve, pulling her away. "Don't sit there wasting time with that idiot." Jed's face darkened slightly at the insult to his kin. "Now, hold on, Mr. Drysdale. Just because she is dressed funny, don't make her an idiot." Drysdale realized his mistake and raised his hands in surrender. "Get out from there, both of you. Mr. Drysdale, it is hard to think of brilliant ideas with folks yelling at you." Granny walked out of the room, muttering darkly, "Where does Granny keep her shotgun?" Jethro ignored the tension, staring up at the ceiling. "I sure hope I can whip that smog problem before I starve to death." Miss Jane sighed, adjusting her oversized uniform hat. "Jethro, I am afraid that problem will not be solved until someone invents a replacement for the internal combustion engine." Jethro's eyes lit up like two light bulbs. "I will do it. I am on it." He paused, the excitement fading slightly as a thought occurred to him. "Hey, what is an internal combustion engine?" Miss Jane explained patiently. "Well, that is the engine that powers the average automobile. The hope is to convert to steam or electricity." Jethro turned eagerly to the banker. "Hey, Mr. Drysdale, what should I put my giant brain to work on first? A steam car or an electric car?" Drysdale, thoroughly annoyed and wanting to get rid of the distraction, muttered, "Why not a gas turbine?" "Oh, I ain't going to mess with hats," Jethro dismissed easily, mishearing the word completely. "Just cars." Jed stepped back into the conversation, his voice steady. Mr. Drysdale, I done told you this money is staying here. Drysdale practically threw himself onto the canvas sack next to Jethro. Mr. Drysdale, get off of my money. It is my money. No, it ain't, Jed corrected gently. It is mine. Well, it is my sack, Drysdale whimpered, clutching the canvas. All right, Jed offered reasonably. I will dump the money out and you can have the sack. Drysdale's eyes widened. Good. Just dump it in that truck out front. It is staying here, Jed repeated firmly. But it is not safe here, Drysdale argued, looking around the room as if thieves were hiding behind the curtains. Why, until you showed up. What? Jed asked, tilting his head. No, it is going back into my vault, Drysdale insisted. Oh, Chief. He turned to his secretary, who was watching the display with an expression of profound boredom. Don't stand there, Hathaway. Use your gun. Miss Jane drew the prop weapon with a dramatic flair. That is an excellent idea. Stand back, Mr. Clampett. I should hate to hit you. Drysdale looked at her in shock. You traitor. Mr. Drysdale, get a hold of yourself, Jed said, his voice laced with pity. I done promised this money to a fellow that is going to get rid of all the smog. Drysdale blinked. Not Jethro. No, Jed explained. This fellow is going to drill a tunnel through the San Bernardino Mountains, put in a great big fan and draw all the smog out of Los Angeles. Drysdale stared at him, dumbfounded. But that is a preposterous idea. Yeah, Jed smiled warmly. We like it too. Miss Jane cleared her throat, stepping between them. Mr. Clampett, the problem of smog is too big to be handled locally. It has to be solved on a national level. Is that a fact? Jed asked, listening intently. Only the president can get together the brain power and the vast amount of money necessary. Miss Jane continued, her voice ringing with authority. Why, this $700,000 isn't even a drop in the bucket. Jed looked thoughtful. Well, how much does the president need? Oh, millions, billions, Miss Jane replied carelessly. Drysdale seized the opportunity, snatching the canvas sack while Jed was distracted by the sheer scale of national economics. I will just take this chicken feed back to the bank. I will study on it, Mr. Drysdale, Jed said, allowing the banker to pull the sack a few inches before placing his boot firmly on the edge of the canvas. Drysdale pulled on the sack, but it wouldn't budge under Jed's heavy work boot. No, give up, Chief, Miss Jane advised, lowering her prop weapon. No, Drysdale snarled, turning his wrath upon his secretary. Hold it, Hathaway. I am not through with you. What now? Miss Jane asked, sighing deeply. Drysdale puffed out his chest, attempting to channel military authority. You are guilty of conduct unbecoming an employee of the Commerce Bank. Oh, big deal, Miss Jane muttered. For cowardice in the face of action, Drysdale continued, pointing an accusatory finger. For failure to obey a direct order. For treachery and insubordination. You are hereby dishonorably discharged as a guard and reduced to the rank of secretary. Miss Jane smiled broadly, her face lighting up with genuine joy. Hallelujah! Don't expect a Christmas bonus this year, Drysdale snapped, trying to wound her financial spirit. I have never had a Christmas bonus, Miss Jane pointed out flatly. Well, don't expect one this year either, Drysdale huffed, turning back toward the front door. Now get the truck. As they stepped out onto the grand driveway, an extraordinary sight greeted them. A massive cloud of thick, white vapor was billowing from the back of the family's old transport vehicle. Pop, hiss, and sputter echoed across the manicured lawns. Boy, what have you done to that truck? Jed asked, walking out onto the porch with Granny and Ellie Mae close behind. Drysdale gasped, covering his nose. Looks like the boob has set it on fire. Jethro, what did you do? Jed called out through the white cloud. Jethro emerged from the vapor, his face covered in grease, holding a massive wrench, and wearing a grin that stretched from ear to ear. I converted this rascal to steam. You are looking at the answer to air pollution by automobile. The Jethro Bodine steam car. I have perfected a clean engine. Granny coughed, waving the thick vapor away from her face. I am going back inside. I told you that for this clean engine jokes. Jethro ignored the skepticism, turning excitedly to his uncle. Uncle Jed, Honest John ain't going to be needing his money no more now that I whipped the smog problem. So I use it to mass-produce my steam car. Hold on, boy, Jed said, gently placing a hand on his nephew's greasy shoulder. According to Miss Jane, only the president himself can handle a small problem. Jethro blinked through the steam. The President of the United States? That's right, Jed nodded. He is the only one that can bring together the brains and the money. Jethro grinned, waving his wrench around proudly. Well, here stands the whole kit and caboodle. I will hop on my steam car, drive to Washington, pull up in front of the White House and give him the brains and the money, all in one package. Jed shook his head slowly. Hold on. Boy, what you got there is just a drop in the bucket. And it ain't likely enough money either. Granny stepped back onto the porch, looking curious. Talking about the money, Granny, Mr. Drysdale says the president's lot will need millions. Destiny. They were not mere tourists. They were pilgrims arriving to offer their life savings to the leader of the free world. Once on the ground, the reality of the Capitol hit them with the force of a whirlwind. The sprawling buildings, the constant movement, and the sheer weight of history hanging in the air were enough to stun even the most worldly travelers. Honest John, ever the orchestrator, was waiting for them, his smile as wide as the Potomac. He had already set the wheels of his committee in motion, convincing Jed that the most patriotic act he could perform was to purchase the very symbols of American democracy from the noble princess sitting hawk. The deal was struck with a handshake and a series of checks that seemed to baffle the logic of the financial world but made perfect sense to Jed. He bought the White House, he bought the Capitol, he bought the monuments, believing he was saving them, preserving them for the people, and helping a poor, displaced Indian princess in the process. He didn't care about the deeds or the legalities. He cared about the integrity of his word and the welfare of those around him. Through it all, Granny remained the grounding force, her sharp wit and watchful eye cutting through the confusion like a knife through soft cheese. She was the one who kept the critters in line, who ensured that the family didn't lose their souls in the glitz of the Capitol, and who looked upon the absurdity of their situation with a wry sense of humor. Even when they were taken to a place called a psycho ward, mistaking their mountain innocence for something far more complex, she held her head high, refusing to believe that goodness could ever be a symptom of insanity. The final realization, when it came, was not a bitter one. They discovered the truth about Honest John and the Princess Sitting Hawk. Their deception laid bare not by the law, but by the overwhelming, simple kindness of the Clampetts. When they returned the $10 million, not because they felt cheated but because they simply refused to be part of a life that lacked the warmth of genuine human connection, they walked away with their dignity intact. They didn't need the titles or the buildings. They had each other, and they had the peace of the hills in their hearts. As they prepared to return to the comfort of their home, the lessons learned in Washington were tucked away like precious keepsakes. They had seen the heart of the country and found it to be a place where dreams were as big as the sky and where the most powerful force in the end was not money or politics, but the unwavering light of an honest heart. And so, the story of Jed and his kin would continue, back where they belonged under the open sky, their story a testament to the fact that no matter how far you travel or how high you rise, the simplest life is often the grandest of all. They returned to the hills not as conquerors of the capital, but as the same mountain folks who had arrived, with their spirits enriched by the realization that their home was not a place, but a state of being where love and family were the only currencies that ever truly mattered. They would set a spell, take their shoes off, and once again the world would be right as rain, with the Beverly Hillbillies finding the joy in the smallest things, ever grateful for the winding road that led them home. The journey had ended where it began, in the quiet wisdom of Uncle Jed, the sharp, observant humor of Granny, and the eager, big-hearted dreams of Jethro, all under the watchful gaze of the hills they called their own. And though they had owned the White House and the Capitol, they knew that true ownership was never about deeds or dollars. It was about the stories they shared, the laughter that rang through the trees, and the comfort of a family united by the threads of time and tradition, forever bound by the simple, beautiful, and enduring legacy of being themselves in a world that often forgot how to be anything at all. The story begins in the heart of Beverly Hills, where the Clampett family continues their peculiar but warm-hearted existence. The sun hung high over the mansion, casting a golden light on the manicured lawns that Jethro often looked at with a mixture of confusion and ambition. Inside, Jed Clampett sat in his favorite rocking chair, observing the rhythmic motions of his family members as they went about their day. Elmer, a small and spirited raccoon, scurried across the polished wooden floor, clutching a dusting rag with surprising dexterity. Jed chuckled softly, his voice a low, gravelly rumble of genuine affection. He watched as Elmer darted behind a heavy mahogany cabinet, reappearing a moment later with a clump of lint held triumphantly in his tiny paws. It was a simple, peaceful scene, but as was often the case in the life of the Clampetts, simplicity was merely a veil for the extraordinary. Jed leaned forward, his gaze shifting to the open doorway where Ellie Mae was busy instructing Jethro on the finer points of cleaning the chandelier. Jethro, ever eager to please but frequently misinterpreting the most basic of tasks, stood precariously on a sturdy wooden stool. He was doing his best to imitate the grace of a professional cleaner, though he mostly resembled a bear trying to thread a needle. Jed stood up, his tall frame unfolding like a carpenter rule, and walked over to where Granny was busy fussing over her collection of herbs. Granny looked up, her spectacles perched precariously on the bridge of her nose, and offered a sharp nod that acknowledged his presence without interrupting her work. She was in a foul mood regarding the state of the living room, specifically the accumulation of dust that she insisted was a personal affront to her standing in the community. The door to the study burst open, and Mr. Drysdale marched in, his face a vivid shade of crimson. He clutched his briefcase to his chest as if it contained the secrets of the universe, his eyes darting frantically around the room. He had arrived at the mansion at least 3 times that week, each visit precipitated by a new, imaginary catastrophe regarding the family fortune. Jed greeted him with his characteristic slow, easy smile, which only served to irritate the banker further. Mr. Drysdale began to pace, his shoes clicking sharply against the marble floor, muttering about vaults, liquidity, and the sheer irresponsibility of keeping $700,000 in cash inside a private residence. Jed listened patiently, his hands clasped behind his back, waiting for the inevitable moment when the banker would run out of breath. It was during this standoff that Jethro, having finally descended from his stool, announced to the room that he had decided to join the noble fight against smog. He had been listening to the radio reports during breakfast and had become convinced that his giant brain was the missing piece to solving the city's pollution problems. Granny snorted, a sound that managed to convey both profound skepticism and a hint of maternal pride. She told Jethro that he could hardly tell smog from applesauce, to which the young man replied with an earnestness that was as endearing as it was ridiculous. He began to talk about internal combustion engines, steam power, and electricity, his eyes glowing with the fervor of an inventor who had just discovered fire. Mr. Drysdale, seizing the moment of distraction, attempted to steer the conversation back to the money. He explained with strained patience that the $700,000 was meant to be safely tucked away in the secure vaults of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, not sitting in a burlap sack in a closet. Jed, however, remained unmoved. He explained that he had already promised the money to a man named Honest John, a fellow who had convinced them that he possessed the necessary resources and, more importantly, the vision to tunnel through the mountains and draw the smog away with giant fans. Mr. Drysdale looked as if he might faint, his eyes glazing over as he tried to process the sheer absurdity of the statement. The afternoon wore on, and the situation evolved into a comedic dance of misunderstandings. Miss Jane Hathaway, Mr. Drysdale's ever-loyal and long-suffering secretary, arrived in a ridiculous guard disguise, tasked with retrieving the money by any means necessary. Her appearance was the catalyst for a series of events that saw the mansion transformed into a theater of the absurd. There were shouts, tactical maneuvering. The Potomac River, Shifty said. You got $1 million for the Potomac River? Well, it was so polluted I let it go cheap. Why? Ha ha, ha ha ha. Shifty, I gotta hand it to you. Shifty said. Good idea, that will be our champagne and caviar. Who ordered that? I did. I thought a little celebration is in order. Come in. Excuse me. I am looking for some kittens, Shifty said. Mr. Honest Jones, Calumet, don't find one of your kittens, Honest Jones, Jed said. Well, would you look at this? It is Honest John and Sutton Hawk, Jed said. Yes, ma'am, Shifty said. Honest John, I sure never expected this, Jed said. Well, you see, you have got to be the nicest man that ever lived, Jed said. Well, you see, what have I? What? Who else but you would take in a poor old Indian woman who ain't got no place to pitch her teepee? What? Ain't I always said it? The man is a living saint, Shifty said. He is the salt of the earth, one of nature is nobleman, Shifty said. I don't know what to say, Shifty said. You don't need to worry, Honest John, you speak with deeds of kindness. I am gonna. Of course, you are the greatest American I know, Jed said. Please do not say that. It is not true, Shifty said. It sure is, Jed said. That is a fact. If everybody was like you, there wouldn't be no wars or riots. All God as children would love one another like they were meant to, Jed said. Stop it, will you? We ain't said half enough. Why, you must be the finest man that ever lived, Jed said. Look, you want to know the kind of man I am? I am a confidence man, Shifty said. That is the truth, Shifty said. We got nothing but confidence in you, Jed said. You don't know what you are saying, Shifty said. I don't. Huh? When you are the only man that a 150-year-old Indian will trust. You are something special, Jed said. All right, want to hear something? This woman is my wife, Shifty said. Did you hear that? This blessed man married this poor old hag to make her last days on earth happy, Jed said. Listen to me, we work together, we are Confederate, Shifty said. Glory be, if all the people were like you, the South will rise again. Oh, God bless you. Honeymooners, Granny said. Granny, I think we is best get out of here before we all go to ball, Jed said. Wait a minute, here, take your 10 million back, Jed said. Why? It is yours and hers, Jed said. We don't want it, we don't need it, Shifty said. What is the matter? Was it something we said? It is everything you said, Shifty said. Here, well, I am not taking it back, Shifty said. Well, I am not keeping it, Shifty said. Happy New Year, Shifty said. Well, if all that, let us go in the other teepee, Jed said. Well, if that don't beat all, Granny said. It is our own fault, Granny, we overpraised him. You just cannot do that to a modest man, Jed said. Well, come on, everybody, Jed said. Well, now it is time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You are all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is, set a spell, take your shoes off, you'll come back now, here. This has been a Filmways presentation. As a dedicated chronicler of the Clampett clan, I present a full-length, seamless narrative capturing the whimsical spirit, heartfelt innocence, and enduring charm of their legendary Washington adventure. The sun hung low over the rolling hills of the Beverly Hills mansion, casting long, golden shadows across the porch where Jed Clampett sat, whittling a piece of cedar with the slow, deliberate grace of a man who had seen much of the world but remained untouched by its cynicism. Beside him, Granny was busy with her morning routine, her bonnet pulled tight, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of trouble, while Jethro, ever the ambitious dreamer, scurried around with his raccoon duster, convinced that he was making great strides in the domestic arts. The house was generally a bustling place, but today, a peculiar energy filled the air. Uncle Jed, always the pillar of calm, looked up from his work as Jethro bustled past. You are working hard at that house cleaning, Elmer, Jed noted with a gentle smile, referring to the raccoon that clung to Jethro like a loyal companion. The critter seemed to take great pride in its work, its tiny paws expertly flicking at dust motes that only it could see. Jethro, ever the optimist, beamed at his uncle. Elmer is a dandy, Uncle Jed. He finds every speck of lint before I even know it is there. As they moved to shake their dusters outside, the conversation drifted toward the curious affairs of Honest John, a man whose presence in their lives had been as unpredictable as a mountain storm. Uncle Jed, old Honest John, has not returned to pick up his $700,000, Jethro observed, his eyes wide with a mix of confusion and opportunity. Honest John was the type of fellow who kept a low profile, and his absence was as puzzling as his sudden appearances. Jethro, always looking for a way to stretch his modest allowance, pondered the idea of an advance. 50 cents a week will take a long time to pay back, Jed chuckled, his voice rich with the wisdom of the hills. You are young, Jethro, but you ain't that young. The talk soon turned to the grander issues of the day, specifically the smog that was reported to plague the cities. It was a cause that Honest John had championed with such vigor that the Clampetts found themselves naturally drawn to it. I would like to throw my brain into the fight against smog, Jethro declared, puffing out his chest with a seriousness that made Jed chuckle inwardly. The fight against smog requires brains and money, Jed mused, looking toward the horizon. If we have both, I reckon we have a leg up on the situation. It was precisely the spirit of naive but deeply rooted generosity that led them to the brink of their Washington adventure. Mr. Drysdale, their ever-anxious banker, had called in a state of high agitation, his voice trembling with the fear that $700,000 in cash might vanish or be mismanaged. The hives he suffered were legendary, and the thought of the money being promised to Honest John to fight smog pushed him to the edge of sanity. Granny, never one to be cowed by a banker, merely stood her ground, her arms crossed firmly over her apron. A promise is a promise, she insisted, her voice unwavering. We promised that money to fight smog, and that is where it shall go. The escalating tension between the practical, money-conscious Mr. Drysdale and the idealistic, mountain-hearted Clampetts was a dance that had been performed many times. Drysdale believed that money belonged in the cold security of a vault, while Jed believed that money was a tool for doing good, especially for a cause as noble as cleaner air. The irony was not lost on anyone. The finest minds in the country were struggling with the very problem that Jethro hoped to solve, with a stick and a bit of enthusiasm. As Jethro set his giant brain to work, he began to ponder the intricacies of engines. He envisioned a future where steam or electricity would replace the internal combustion engine. A dream so grand it threatened to overwhelm his humble frame. "I am on it," he would announce to anyone who would listen, his eyes alight with the fire of invention. The Jethro Bourdain electric car was born in the quiet corners of his imagination, a vessel for his hopes and the future of the environment. When the call finally came from Washington, it was the culmination of all these events. The president, or at least the man posing as him, spoke with a gravity that demanded attention. Jethro was at his side, hanging on every word, his heart pounding with the excitement of a young patriot. The offer to donate their entire fortune of $95 million to fight air pollution was made with a sincerity that only the Clampetts could possess. It was not a gesture of vanity, but one of pure, unadulterated goodness. They truly believed that if you had money, and there was a problem, the money should be used to fix it. The journey to Washington was filled with the kind of mishaps and wonder that defined their life. They boarded the plane with the simplicity of folks headed to a county fair. Granny with her pickled pawpaws, Ellie Mae with a baby possum, and Jethro with his grand visions of cleaning the air. As they flew over the Capitol, the city unfolded beneath them like a map of destiny.